Finance Committee meeting, March 19th. It is 6:02. And here tonight, we have Gage Spanknable, our intern. We have Peter Machusko, myself, Amy Fiden. We have Pam Haig. We have Paul McCretsky. Harry Vondelowski may join us a little bit later, but he is not here at this time. So tonight, the first thing we'll start off with is the minutes. I am looking for the minutes from 2:11, 2:25, 3:3, and 3:11. So 2:11 was the by-board listening session. 2:25 was a by-board meeting. 3:3 was our first FinCom meeting after getting the book, and 3:11 was also a by-board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Can we do these as a group or one at a time?
I think we can do them as a group.
Okay, I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Didn't hear from him.
Second?
All right, a motion by Paul and a second by Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. We are still pending 3:9 and 3:12. So those will be next time. All right, tonight we'll be meeting with the Board of Health, Council on Aging. We'll probably be talking about veterans, Hadley Media, maybe?
He's going to put that off to the 30th.
Oh, okay, Hadley Media
Yeah.
is putting off the veterans. We'll talk.
Veterans is right here.
He's
Oh,
ready.
okay. Okay, great. Park and Rec, Historical, and then we also have the treasurers in reserves and all that stuff, if
If we
time
have
allows,
time.
like we do that. Yeah, these are at the end. All right, so we could start off right in order. We can do I see Ben is here, and we can do the Board of Health.
That's
All right, so we could talk about that, and if you could tell us what page we're on, Linda, do you know?
40.
40?
All right. I'll wait until you guys get where you need to be, and then I'll start.
All right,
All set?
right, all set.
Okay, so this is the first time I've met with the Finance Committee, so I just wanted to say hi. My name is Ben. I know I haven't met any of you guys in person before, so hello. What I wanted to do is start off letting you guys know a little bit more about who we are and what we do, and then we can get into the line items as you so choose. So who we are is a regulatory and enforcement department. So I know that sometimes there's an idea that public health can be advocates for certain things or try to push for new programs, that type of thing, and that certainly is true on the state and federal level. But at the local level, most of what we do, almost all of it, is enforcement and regulatory. That's pretty much everything, and I'll go through all that in detail here so that you guys understand what it is I'm talking about when it comes to that. So we try not to, as far as regulatory goes, we try not to pass new regulations that would require new budgetary resources to have those regulations complied with. One example that we passed recently was the Board of Health Apprenticeship Program, Body Art Apprenticeship Program. And we did that because one of the local businesses approached us and said they wanted to have apprentices. There was no approved program in place, and they asked for us to work with them to put something together so that there is something clear, a standard that they need to meet, and we're all on the same page. That'd be an example of regulation we have passed, but again, not something that is trying to put an additional burden either on the budget or the people of businesses of Hadley. So trying to help people as much as we possibly can as far as that goes.
I'm just trying to understand what that means.
Yep, so a body art apprentice is when someone does not have the experience yet to be a body artist, so tattoo here in Hadley. They need to be trained.
And you train them?
But no, what happens is I worked with the business to put together the regulations as to what they need to do to be able to get a license. We license them.
Oh.
So for me to give them a license to be a tattoo artist here in town, they have to meet certain standards. Now those standards, they can't meet them when they've never done anything in the business before. So they have to be, they have to have someone that teaches them, is an apprentice of that person. So what that looks like would be something along the lines of X number of hours that they would need to work under a body artist, for example. Certain classes, certain standards that they need to meet, exams as they go through, as they progress through their apprenticeship. These are all things that I would need to see that they have the knowledge that they need. And if they pass those tests and get the certifications they need and do the amount of time and training that they need, then I can issue them a body artist license, a practitioner license is what it's called.
Oh. Now, when you do so this is new, when you do this, do you, each time you check on them, so each time they come in and say, hey, I did this, I passed this, and you check it,
So
is there
usu-
fees, is there things like that you collect on?
There's no additional fee for the
You just-
apprenticeship,
Okay,
but there is a fee for the license.
okay,
And the apprenticeship would be checked on their progress at their usual inspections at the body art establishments. So I would ask for updates at the time. And of course, when they believe that they've gone through all of their training, they present to me all of the materials that they have, tests, certifications, sign-offs from their trainer that they've done X number of hours, that type of thing. And then I take that, consider it, see if it matches the regulations that the Board of Health passed, and if it does, they're granted a license.
okay.
All right, so I'll move on from
Yeah,
there. So our goals, our main goal is compliance. So that would mean that we want to make sure that everybody is following the state's laws. Again, we have very few local, so it's mostly state, all right? And as far as compliance goes, we're looking for, from the public, it serves better public health outcomes such as reduced infectious disease, exposure to toxins, uncontrolled waste and filth. Those are the main things that this department tries to control. As far as who compliance goes for the town, benefit we provide is liability protection. So we are required by the state to enforce these health codes. And if we don't, if the wording in there is shall, then we must. And if we don't, then it's a problem if we're not enforcing the codes that we're required to enforce. So that's my job, is to make sure that we are complying with the requirements that we are given as a town. All right, so any questions on that?
Are you the enforcement officer, or do you have to get someone else from the town, such
Nope,
as?
I'm enforcement.
It's all you.
Our enforcement, it's codes, it's not laws, so I might say law, it is a form of law, but usually it's considered a code. So there's no, there's no handcuffs or anything like that. It's all just, inspections, compliance, making sure that they've done what was asked of them, assisting them, giving them suggestions on how they can do it, that type of thing. So that's most of what compliance was involved in compliance.
And
When
that
it comes-
involves fine, I'm sorry, go ahead, Peter.
When it comes to inspections, say with restaurants.
Yep.
How often are you going to those restaurants? I'm sure you're notifying them first, to saying, hey, we're gonna be doing an inspection this week or in the next 30 days. Is it just an annual inspection once a year?
So we don't notify them usually. We just show up because we don't want them to,
Know what's going on?
So we show up, usually, by the code, it's twice a year, but you can put in place a risk-based inspection system or frequency. That is what we have done. And risk-based means that you can replace, and this is in the code too, you can replace the 2-year requirement to increase it for the high-risk food establishments and reduce it for the low-risk establishments. So your resources go more to who is most likely to get people sick. Now that doesn't mean those food establishments are dirty or they have a lot of violations. Risk is based on the type of foods they serve, their processes, for example. One would be very common for people to understand. A sushi location could be perfect, very clean, never have any violations that would be all that concerning. They'd still be a high risk because there's a chance that somebody could get sick. There's no kill step with the fish, right? Some fish, yes, but a lot of times that's not the case. So we prioritize based on risk, and then we do the inspections. For the high risk, it's 3 or 4 times a year. If it's low risk, it's once a year. sometimes a little longer, 18 months. And then as far as those inspections go, we go back for inspections. So we inspect, and then there's usually a re-inspection. Or at the very least, they have to send us proof that it's been corrected, so like a picture showing that it's done. So that gets to your frequency.
And when they have to go a second time, there's no surcharge. It's kind of like inspection on your vehicle. Once you get a rejection, you go back there, you get it fixed, they give you the green light for your sticker for free because you've already paid for it.
Yeah.
Is there a second surcharge,
So-
knowing if there's been a first violation and they fix it? Is there another fee?
So up to this point, we do not have a second fee. It's their license pays for the inspection. That being said, this year I intend to put before the board the option for them to pass something that would allow us to charge if there's a second re-inspection. So the first inspection is always, I mean, that's just part of the requirements. Re-inspection would be free also, but if that time we find they're still not correcting what was originally requested or asked to be done, the next inspection, there would be a fee for it.
So are these fees, are they set by statute, or?
We would have to pass them at the board.
Does the municipality have the flexibility to
Municipality can
set
do
the
it.
fee? Okay.
Yeah, but we haven't done it yet. You asked, so I let you know that's on my plate, but I haven't done it yet. Okay. All right. So getting back to as I said, we are a regulatory and enforcement agency. There are two exceptions to that. One being we have a nurse that works at the senior center, and unfortunately we lost her today. So she's no longer she's not a nurse anymore. She
There.
resigned.
She resigned, okay.
She
Yes.
resigned.
Yes.
It didn't sound good the way that came out.
We, being the department, lost her. Sorry for the language. Anyways, but what she did prior to today is blood pressure monitoring and education, general health advice to seniors, coordinating and managing Sharps pickups, that type of thing. Flu. She also coordinated for flu clinics. And there were nurses as well that are in training that would sometimes shadow her, that type of thing. So that would be what she offered as far as services go to the senior center. Obviously not a regulatory thing, so that is an exception that I wanted to bring up.
How many hours a week?
It would be 7 every other week is what she was doing. However, we have budget for more, but I can explain that when we get to her line item if you have those questions about that. Okay, so the next item that is an exception to what I just described as far as regulatory is opioid cessation. This is not something that comes from the taxpayers of Hadley. This is a separate fund that comes from the settlement funds from via the state. And we can get into that when we talk about the line items. All right. Next item, which is health department responsibilities. So you guys already brought up food establishment inspections. That is what almost everybody knows that the Board of Health does, but that is not all that we do. So I have a list of items that I do so that you guys can look them over, ask any questions you might have.
Thanks.
Can I have a second one so we can get one for Harry? I'll get that to him so he can see that.
You gonna jump over it? Oh. Thank you. That was probably the wiser, safer choice.
Sure, look here, what? You got him.
Okay. So these are the items that we are responsible for as a board. Almost all of these are, again, regulatory. There's some code or law somewhere that says that Hadley has to handle these requests or items or whatever you would want. Responsibilities is a good word for it. So one thing I'll make note of before I answer any questions about these is we have, since the time that I've arrived, brought in the Hampshire Public Health Shared Services Collaborative, which I will from now on refer to as the Collaborative, because I'm not going to go through that every single time I mention them. what they do is assist us with the food establishment inspections. They do the majority of our initial food inspections. So they go in, they do an inspection. If there's an issue, they let me know, and I can handle it. But the reason for that is we have many, many food inspections here in Hadley. Or excuse me, food permits here in Hadley. We had a total of 143 total permits issued last year, with 79 being brick and mortar. So it's a lot. And if you do 2 a year, let's say we didn't do the risk-based. Risk-based isn't meant to reduce the amount of inspections, it's meant to focus the inspections. But if we were to do the 2 a year, you can quickly do the math, and many of them having re-inspections, you can quickly do the math and find out one person is not going to be able to do that, along with Title V, housing, and all these other smaller responsibilities. So the collaborative is key to us meeting our requirements, our state requirements for inspections. If we didn't have them, even though I exist, I probably wouldn't be able to get everything done. But at this time, we are in compliance.
And do we pay them? Do you
No,
pay?
they are free.
They are free?
They come
Oh.
from the state. So the state pays for them. Thank goodness. We wouldn't be able to, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to support them, I don't think. So, they, like I said, they do the majority of the first pass inspections. They also handle our nursing from an infectious disease standpoint. So this would be like hepatitis, measles, that type of thing, tick-borne. When doctors put in into MAVEN is the system, that there's something related to public health, it is distributed to wherever that person lives, which if they're in Hadley, then it would go to these nurses who would then handle whatever needs to be done as far as notifying them if there needs to be a quarantine or whatever the case might be. They also let me know. So for example, if there's a foodborne illness, they will interview that person and then provide me with the relevant information I need to be able to do what's called an FBI, which is a foodborne illness investigation. All right? And that means I go to the restaurants and I do a targeted inspection, not just a full inspection. Okay. And let's see. So, a little bit about my approach since I've joined the board. My goals have been to create better documentation. I don't want to get into every little detail here, but our documentation was not very good before I came in the door. Part of being in compliance is being able to show that you're in compliance. You need to be able to produce the documentation if someone asks. And frequently, we get many FOIA requests. Frequently, people do ask. And so we can provide them with that information now. Documentation has been a focus of mine. Consistency through a systematic approach, which I can show you, but I have flowcharts now. I have check sheets on everything I do so I don't forget something, and each thing follows the same system. The goal of that being that everything is handled the same, reduces variability, and people can know what they can expect.
How long have you been here?
Since full-time 2023. And then lastly, thoroughness with and high standards. So again, if you do your checklist, you can make sure that you're hitting every single mark every time. So that just automatically will raise your standards so long as it's a thorough checklist. Any questions about that stuff before I move on to the next thing? All right.
Well, I guess you're telling us of all these things for the requirements for the Title V and all these restaurants. What's your background of Board of Health, of being able to do this? I mean, you look at standards, you look online as to what a tattoo shop is supposed to be, but with your experience, have you been Board of Health wise for 3 years, 5 years? You've been full-time with us since 23, so 3 years. So a little bit about your background, that you could look up to any place and say, yeah, I know that right there is a violation because you've been doing it for so long, or you have your certifications for doing Title V's.
I've been a Board of Health inspector since 2013. And I was out in the Boston area before. Then I jumped into private industry, and I was in in food production. So I was regulatory compliance for a food production plant. That they're called a co-man, which means that they produce for many different brands. They don't have their own brand, but they produce for many different brands. And so I was regulatory compliance for them. They were a 24-hour a day operation, and that meant I was working 24 hours a day because there are problems that come up at food plants constantly. And I'm one of the guys that would be called. The production would be called, and you'd get a team together, but I'd be called all hours of the night, and I had 2 little kids. And so it was very clear that either I focused on my family or I focused on my job as far as that job goes, 24 hours a day. So I decided we're jumping back into public health because that's not 24 hours a day. Well, as much. You still can get a call, but it's not as like you're expecting every night to get a call. So anyways, so I jumped back into public health. As far as certifications go, anything that I can have a certification in, I have. As far as some of these things they don't have certifications for. They have the law, which I then know and know how to enforce it based on what the law says. I just follow what the law says. But many of these things have a certification. If there is one, I have it. Yeah, so any other questions about that? Okay, move to the next thing. So now I'm on budget updates. So how are we increasing revenue at the Board of Health? So Body Art is now licensed. I'm not just talking about apprenticeships. When I got here, we did not issue Body Art licenses. We should have, but we didn't.
How many do we have?
We have 2 establishments in town, but each establishment has many practitioners. So we licensed the establishments and the practitioners. There are trash haulers are now licensed. Again, before I started here in town, we didn't license our trash haulers. Now we do. So
Now, do we have, the ones that I could think of, I didn't realize that they do Hadley, but they're not local.
yeah, that's right. But if they pick up our trash and we don't license them, we don't have any regulatory oversight over them, which could be a big problem if there's, like, for example, if there's a resident of Hadley that believe that there's trash coming off the trucks, or they're being not maintained very well, or whatever the case might be. If they don't have a license, so enforcement is tied to the license. I can't regulate you if you're not licensed by us. Us meaning the town.
So like, I think USA
Yep.
does a bunch, they have to get it from every town,
Correct.
a license.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
So everybody has to get that.
I
Yep.
didn't know that either.
So that's now brought in some more money for our budget.
How many do we have I would think there's a lot of different companies
Yep.
that do different things.
4.
We have 4.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and last thing I'll say for increasing revenue is fees have increased from 2022 to 2026. I'll give you 3 examples of that. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the full fee schedule, but annual septic installer went from 100 to 200. Annual large restaurant went from 300 to 500. Motels went from 100 to 150. Those are 3 examples. Again, that's not all in a year. That's over the course of 4 years. But when I came in, we were on the very low end of fees. So we increased them up to much more where the average for the area. Let's put it that way.
You said motels, is it hotels too?
Yeah, that would include hotels.
That the whole thing?
Yeah, right.
Okay, and what is it only the food area that you inspect, or you go to all the rooms? I
Yes,
mean,
yeah. So we license the hotel. So if there's any issues with the housing code would apply there. If there's any issues in there related to, it could be a lot of things. There could bed bugs, for example. If they are not handling.
150 seems awful low for a really big hotel.
If you look, you can make that argument, but we can't go extremely over what the average is in the area. So, if we do, then we could be accused of gouging or something like that.
yeah,
We don't want to do that.
No.
Okay, and then, so I'll jump from then the revenue increases to the budget cuts, which, for this year. Budget cuts would be clerical services were reduced by $1,000. Nurse was reduced by 1,000. Septic contractor was reduced by 1,000. 500 from legal services and 500 from training line item. The legal services were reduced from 500 to 0. So anyways, those were the cuts. Do you have any questions about that? And I'm happy to go through the line items with you here, but anything specifically, just those cuts.
So the nurse that we had, like you said, it was Council on Aging.
Yep.
The school is separate,
Yep.
right? Okay. So, but the nurse won't be in anywhere else. This is the only nurse that we have. Okay.
Correct.
And it's, that was 7 hours every other week.
That was yes, the budget is higher than that. She started at more than that. She asked for it to be reduced
Okay.
at some point, and then she did ask for it to be increased back, but at that point, the select board had already put a freeze on increasing hours and that type of thing, so
Okay.
we told her no. But we are hoping to be able to use that budget fully. We're hopefully hiring another nurse at some point, and for the seniors here.
Yeah.
And that would hopefully, we'll be able to use that budget for that.
So how many hours are truly budgeted in this budget right here?
Is it 10 or 14?
So it would be, I think it's 14 every 2 weeks. So it'd be double what it is now.
So 28 hours a month?
No, yes, a month, yes. And just the Board of Health nurse, Ben informed us about the resignation this morning. And I know that we want to talk to you about a couple of other positions with the Select Board at your next board. So that the Board of Health nurse is going to be one of those positions that we're going to bring to talk to the two of y'all about,
To unfreeze.
the two boards. Okay?
Okay. Anything else about the cuts?
Where, on the inspections line, where is that money spent?
Yep. So you're talking about where's the cut?
And actually in total too, like how does it get spent?
What is it used for?
The 5,300 account.
Not following you.
Right.
Oh, I see. You're under inspections at
Yes.
5,300. Okay, so the inspections are actually so that is two things. One, it's 5,500 for mosquito control. I'm not sure why that landed. It was in inspections before I got here, but that's the line item for mosquito control, which has to do with monitoring for arbovirus, which is a West Nile and Tripoli. We have to pay the state to do that, and so that is how we do it. We pay them $5,500 a year. So that's part of it, and then the rest of it is we have a Title V inspector who has 750 now that's dedicated to him, and he does mostly perk tests for us. Do people know what perk tests are here?
Mhm.
So perk tests would be, I'm going to be doing more of them in the field because we cut his budget by 1,000, but I still want to have him as an option, because if, for example, there is a installer or an engineer that has somebody call them and say, we need this ASAP, and they're only available at certain times, and I already have that scheduled, I'd like to be able to pick up the phone and call that third-party inspector and or Title V, a third-party Title V person, and say, hey, can you go do the perk test for me? So
Are they sanitary engineers, the third party? or-
they would have a system inspector certification
Mhm.
and a soil evaluator certification.
Okay.
I do too, but they would as well.
Could they do the full Title V inspection for set and sale?
Yeah, they can do the full Title V, although I don't.
If they weren't available?
If I wasn't available, they could do the full one so they could do it on site. They don't do the plan reviews.
Okay,
I do the plan reviews.
but they could do it on site.
That they could do it on site. And what happens is I'll say, if it passes, send me an email so I can sign the documents.
Okay.
So we'll have that clear handoff. So that's how that all works. Again, we had more. We just cut some of those. So I'll be out in the field more often. just figure I'd let you know that's what that line item is for. Any other questions about the line items?
No?
The only other thing, so let's see. There is only one other large line item that you might have a question about, which is community health programs, which would be that's 16,000. The majority of that goes to Tapestry, and then the rest of that goes to the Sharps pickup, which is about $1,000
Where are
every
you
year.
now? Oh, community health.
Yeah.
5580.
Oh, okay. So how much goes to what again?
So
Say that
it's
again?
15,000 for
Yep.
Tapestry,
Yep,
and then 1,000 for the Sharps pickup.
And Tapestry is,
Tapestry is an entity that, let me give you the details on Tapestry here.
and they're in the drug related.
We use the opioid funds for that, and so it's a wash because we have the opioid funds and we allocate them in the revenue section and spend them in here. So there's no additional cost to the town.
But I can tell you what Tapestry is real quick. It's for overdose prevention, Narcan access and training, syringe access, disposal, referrals to medical care, substance abuse treatment, that type of thing.
So that covers, Linda, that opioid money covers both aspects, Tapestry and the Sharps pickup?
No,
Just,
just the Tapestry.
Just
right?
Tapestry,
Oh,
correct.
okay.
Correct. I included Sharps because if you can see there's more than the 15,000, and that goes to the Sharp. The extra 1,000 goes to the Sharps. There's a little bit left over there, but that is essentially, like, eventually I will need to do a legal notice. If I want a regulation to be passed, I have to put it in a local paper of note. It has to be posted there so that people can see it. That costs money. So that would be something that I would use that little extra there to be able to do, since we no longer have legal notices, for example.
Although his legal notices will be published out of the select board's legal notice budget if needed.
Correct.
on this, do you keep, do they report back to you how many, because I know it's a nonprofit that it's not local, it's just not just local.
Yep.
Do they report to you how many Hadley residents they have helped?
Yep, so I ask for that update every few months. The most recent update, as from August 2025 to February 2026, they serviced 14 unique individuals, 38, the number of encounters is 38, new participants 1, deliveries to Hadley. Deliveries mean you can call and, like, if, for example, one of your family members has an addiction problem and you want to be provided Narcan or something like that, they would deliver it to you discreetly. So that's what a delivery means. Referrals for treatment is 1. Wound care supplies is 9, hygiene kits is 5, Narcan kits 8, syringes collected is 1,480, syringes distributed is 1,950.
Okay, thank you.
So your revenues, from what I'm seeing, is on the inspections is 7,200? Is that what I'm seeing?
That's an expense.
That's
That's
expensive.
These
the
are just
expense.
expenses.
The revenues are 40 to 50,000, or no, 50.
That's what I was wondering, to see what the revenues are when it
About
comes to
50.
the inspections.
50 to 60,000.
Correct. Yeah. We don't match. Unfortunately, even though I've tried to bring us as close to budget neutral as possible, I just don't have enough to charge for. So, for example, like if you look at the responsibilities, we can charge for food establishment licenses. We can charge for Title V.
Yeah.
We cannot charge for housing. Arbovirus, we don't charge for that, and that's $5,500. There's no licensing involved in that. We do charge for tobacco. Noise complaints, these follow-ups, no. There's a lot of things on here that we don't actually charge for that are services that we have to render. So, we can do the best we can to try to get to budget neutral, but unfortunately, we're not able to do that completely.
So it's about $50,000-$60,000 in receipts average. That's on page if I put my glasses back on, 14 is everybody's receipts. When I mentioned the Asparagus Festival.
Hmm?
When I mentioned the Asparagus Festival.
Oh, yeah. So Asparagus Festival is a pretty good source of revenue for the Board of Health because every one of those vendors has to get a license. Unfortunately, Asparagus Festival, at least I know there is a form of it happening, but the large Asparagus Festival is not happening this year, and so we will expect to see a drop in revenue because we don't have those licenses that would go out. We'll try to make it up as best we can, but certain things we don't have control over, such as that.
Now that we did a new, I believe, bylaw with the food trucks, have we had an uptick in food trucks?
So food trucks, no. We have had a couple that have come in, but it's not enough to make a big dent. We're friendly towards working with more to come in, but we just haven't had that many apply yet. Other than for temporary events.
Okay. I'm good.
So,
What's the burial stipend? What is that?
Any
That's to go to Jessica Spanknable, the burial certificate agent.
Yeah, anytime there's a burial, there needs to be a license or a certificate issued for that. And she provides, Jessica Spanknable, who's
Yeah,
the...
she does death certificates.
Yes, that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
So she makes the death certificates. How is that an expense?
Because technically, if you go by the law, it's a responsibility of the Board of Health. So we are responsible for it, but she has the system, like it works in her system, computer system.
Oh, this is the software system this is what?
No.
It's a
What is?
stipend for her.
It's a stipend for her, but she documents it. She has all the, when people come into the office, they would go directly to her
Yeah.
because usually practically, for all practical purposes, it's better that it rests with her.
Yeah.
But so we, the Board of Health, pay for that because we are technically responsible for it, but we are not physically doing it. She does it, and so we pay the stipend for her to do that.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
transferred out of the Board of Health budget and goes into her.
It's a stipend to Jessica to do the work for them as their agent.
Nope.
She's an agent of the Board of Health issuing the death certificates or the burial license. Is that it?
They pay her
License?
And so
directly.
this
Directly.
goes to her directly,
Yes.
not to her department. or
Correct.
Right.
Her as an individual.
Correct.
Okay.
And she is the keeper of the record, so it makes a lot of sense that it rests with her.
Has that always been like that? Or is that new?
Forever and ever and ever.
It's ever, never, never?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, the Board of Health didn't have employees
Yeah.
until 5 years. Ben, when did you start? 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
2020, mid-2023 was full-time.
So we didn't have, it was Richard Tessier was our main, him and Greg Mish,
Right.
and then Emma E. Dragon now. So yeah, for a long time it was 3 volunteers with many of our working boards doing that. So Jessica's in the office,
Yeah.
7.5 hours every day, so
Mhm.
it worked out really well.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I think by you mentioning the collaborative, that answered that. I had watched one of your meetings and I noticed that you're referring to another person who was doing the inspection. And I thought, I didn't know if we had other employees, but it must have been someone from the collaborative doing the inspections.
Yeah, we don't hire out or we have no contractors for the food, other than the collaborative, which we don't have to pay for.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
All set? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you
your
for
time.
explaining all those things to us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy. It's the first
Educational.
time we had a meeting together, so I wanted to make sure everybody was on the same
I don't think we
page.
understood a lot of it, so.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thanks. Okay, so, if we could maybe do, if you don't mind, can we jump right to the veterans? Because that's probably gonna be nice and quick. Sorry, Violet.
Steve, if you don't wanna do it quickly, then.
Hi,
Hi.
Aye.
how's everybody?
Good, how are you?
All these faces, new.
All right, let's see what page we're on now.
41.
We are 41, okay. We are ready. I believe you have a decrease in your budget this year, which is great for us. Because we,
Yeah.
It was the budget that you requested,
yep,
Yep.
so we're happy for it.
yeah,
But we didn't cut him.
I'll explain why that, it might even go down a little bit more,
okay,
because I'm retiring.
Finally, oh.
wow,
Yeah, so I will be done before the end of the fiscal year. So the new person who would come in to replace me is, I've been at it for 22 years. So, my salary is up there. The person who comes in is not going to be making what I make. So, but we've also had to restructure some of our staffing. And there's 4 of us in the office. There's myself, she was called an investigator, but she does a whole lot more than that. So she is now going to be the assistant director. We have another VSO, and then we've had a principal account clerk. She is now going to become an investigator. And the reason we're doing that is because of the confidentiality of some of the work we do and the extra work. A lot of it is VA. It used to be most of our work was under the benefits program run by the state under Mass General Law, Chapter 115. And that was for low-income veterans, retired veterans on fixed incomes. But those numbers have decreased as we've lost many more of the World War II and Korean War veterans. People's retirement has gotten better, and if you're a Vietnam veteran, unfortunately, you probably are getting some money from the VA because you have exposure to toxins as Agent Orange, things like that. So that benefits program has gone down, but the applications to get that VA federal money have gone up considerably. So right now we have 3 of us that are all accredited through the federal government to handle VA paperwork. The idea is that we're not really supposed to do more than 12 at any given time. Unfortunately, we're doing about 20 because we have 14 communities. So we're doing about 20 each. That can't sustain itself. So the person who's been the principal account clerk, we are moving her up into that position of investigator, which will allow her to also get certified and accredited to do VA claims. So all 4 people are going to be able to do that work, even when I'm gone, because whoever fills my position is going to have to do the same thing. But it's just needed because right now I've been doing this for a long time and we've never done so many claims in our lives.
And just so it's clear to people, these are not our employees. This is the,
It's the
Central
outside
Hampshire.
entity of Central Hampshire, so we
Right,
do.
and they provide the services to Hadley.
Right. So, and your portion of our budget, I was looking at it, I hadn't known it had gone down, but it makes sense that it has a little bit.
It's it was the last line that went down. Your contract one was actually up to 29.4.
right.
But you moved that from 80
Right.
to 70.
Yeah, so, and that is an indication of that whole thing, that money that gets paid out in benefits is going down because we have less and less people on. So,
so it's purely based on the amount of people that are
right.
on that
It
service.
could change halfway through the year. We could have a whole bunch of people who need. The other thing that's always tough, because it's unpredictable, is there's a line, we put in that one veteran or their dependent, if they die and there's not enough money, we have to allow $4,000 because we would pay that
The very-
towards it. It doesn't happen very often as the towns are smaller, but when it does, and we've had it happen in some of our towns where 2 happened in the same year, and we don't usually budget for that, we usually budget for 1. In Northampton, we budget for 5. Amherst, so we budget it, but we could be spared of it.
Yeah.
But once it happens, we have to have that money. We can't wait for it to then get reallocated.
Okay.
So,
Most often rolls back in. I've seen it, I think I've seen it once in the last 5 years that we've used it. But
and all of that line item of benefits, if we do our work right, you get 75% of that back.
So they're still
From the
doing
state.
that. Yeah, okay.
So, and I can show you that this year, you got all of your 75% back.
Yep.
So is that 70,000, that's our 25% then, I take it?
So
It's
the,
not the full amount that's offset by the
the full amount's
75?
in the budget.
yeah, so last year, last fiscal year, we did what, 70,963. You got back 53, so that's the 25% you got, the 75% you got back.
So, Linda, what?
It's in state aid.
Okay.
Oh, that's in
Okay,
state- I was
right,
gonna ask.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 items in there, veterans benefits and exemptions, but benefits are what we get back related to that directly. The abatement to veterans and elderly, is that anything that's through your agency, or we get that directly from the state?
You get it
Yeah.
directly from the state. We help people process it, but
Okay.
you'll get it back from the state. Now, I don't know if under the HERO Act, the state allowed communities to increase real estate abatements. I don't know if Hadley did that. It's hard to keep track of all the
did not
towns,
adopt
but you wouldn't get that back from the state. The state said, "Oh, we're gonna allow you to spend more of your real estate money to help out." So,
Okay.
So in effect, then, if that 70,000's 100%, then kind of, is it a right to look at it like our share's really like $17,000 or $18,000 roughly?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When you take the offset.
Right, right,
Right. It all comes back a year later, but
Right,
that's.
right.
yeah.
I know that Senator Comerford has heard from a lot of the small, because I have a district, and Franklin County, not all of there's one town not in it, and there's another town from Hampshire County that's part of it, but they have a lot of small towns, and the small towns would like that reimbursement to come back faster, so she has introduced legislation. It didn't pass the first 2-year session. It's in again. It'd be great if it did, because you could get money back in your general fund, which would help with budgeting, but
It's about a year lag, I think. at
yeah,
this
it's 1
point.
year lag.
So if
now.
they speeded it up, that means we would get the catch-up payment in that year. That would be very nice.
Yes.
This would be a
So-
good year for that.
Yes. And I've testified in front of the legislature for it, because I have so many small towns. I've got Middlefield in our district, and if they have one funeral, it's going to be. So we get it, but the State Department of Veterans Services used to be just a department under the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, but with the disaster over at the Hoyoke Soldiers Home at the time, they now are an executive office of Veterans Services. So they're going through a lot of transition. They're hiring, in my opinion, too much on the upper end, but hopefully they get more authorizers and the process will happen faster, so you will have a much more feasibility of getting money back in 6 months instead of 12. But they just got to.
And when you say, you mentioned the term inspectors, is that somebody like Would Dan be considered one then?
No, Dan is the VSO.
Okay.
Our investigators are my staff who go through all the documents, make sure everything matches up. We have to go through everything from bank statements to, you know, other savings accounts, all that kind of stuff to make sure that they're all within our regulations under 108 CMR. So they do it. If they don't have all the documents, they need to communicate with the applicants and the veterans saying, we need this, we need that. So their job is to make sure. What's that?
Like getting a mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's any benefits program. Folks know about SNAP and all of that and DTA money. We have the same requirements. What's nice is we are local, so do I drive around every year in January and February and pick up the documents from people? Yeah. I live in Lenox, so it's really good because I go through my towns and I go, all right, I'll go by Mrs. Smith's house and I'll pick up her documents or take pictures. But yeah, we have to do that. My assistant, who's now going to be the assistant director, I've been with her for 20 years. She's been working in my office, so she knows it inside out.
That's Rebecca?
Yep.
So they process the claims, the benefits claims, and once a month, the list comes over to Hadley, and it goes through our warrant, and those individuals then are paid the benefits out of our account. And then it's certified, and we send it to the state, and eventually, we get the 75% back.
A year later, it all gets
It's
received.
It's a process, so it would be very nice to move that forward a year would be really great.
Yeah.
And do you still have hours, do you have hours in the senior center?
Yeah, every Wednesday,
Yeah.
Dan or I are here. He usually does, like I say, I live in Lenox, so I'll do Chester and Huntington, and he does Hadley. I do Amherst, you know. But we mix it up.
So good.
Do we know how many residents you actually serve in our town, in Hadley?
There's 11,
11?
yep.
But
And-
through the hours, though, it's additional people, right? You do
Right.
other, more than the benefits,
Yeah.
the
Right, well,
advising.
so we have claims we work really closely with, because we now have Vietnam veterans that are getting the cancers, all the negative things that go with exposure to Agent Orange. So we're now going and doing VA claims for them. That's where most of it's come from, is they passed the PACT Act back in '23. And so that included more things for Vietnam vets, but it also said those that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, do you have respiratory? Oh yeah, they all have it because of the burn pits. We file that. Or if somebody passes away from one of those conditions, we work with the family and the spouse to get them their benefits. So it's gotten so much bigger than it used to be.
Yeah.
But
So, well,
But we are all trained by the federal government to be able to do it. That's where some of the cost is. As we've lowered other things, we've had to increase that because it's $400 to get the license to do the software, and then we go to trainings. So,
Anybody else have any questions?
and if you ever want to meet some of the veterans here in Hadley, come to the lunch that happens here on the second Wednesday of every month. Second Wednesday of every month, we have a luncheon here. And we're waiting for Helen to come back, but Stanley's back, so we have them all coming. It's pretty great.
We used to have a number of them picking their checks up each month, but that was before COVID. Once COVID hit, we said, no, we're mailing them out.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
And all the
most have
folks
not
in
returned.
Hadley, we haven't had one
Yeah.
person I've had to go and get the documents because they're elderly and they can't get them. But other than that,
Yeah.
they're very smooth in getting all of
Well,
our
I will be
stuff.
talking to him about that. I'll be reaching out for the banner committee.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, yeah, Pam is the chair on the banner committee.
Yes, she is.
He's been
Yeah.
working really closely with us, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
May 2nd, May 2nd's our picnic.
Okay. Yes, it's going to be up at the Sugar House.
Yes, so save that date, please.
Yep, I did. Joyce made me put it in my calendar.
Awesome. Good choice.
And I won't be retired yet, so I can still officially be there.
Well, it's nice to see you, and thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
your-
Thank you, everybody.
It's been great working with you.
Yes, it has been. It has been. It's been a hard decision to make, but,
I'm there.
yeah.
Still
Yeah.
thinking.
You gotta stop once in a while.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
Bye.
I didn't make
Oh, yeah?
All right, Violet, you want to come on?
I think we'll have to wait for Peter, but I can, in the meantime, pass along. I know that Dan did such a nice introduction, who they are, so we're gonna pass, if you could pass around our informational sheet about our services and what we do for this community. Did I give you too many?
No, you didn't, but I gave, this is Peter,
Okay.
and then he's gonna probably want to give one to Harry.
Could
So
we
I-
use it in the meantime?
What's that? Oh,
you
no, he
have
has
more.
more.
All right, thanks. All righty.
Oh, if
Can I
we're
have
short,
one?
we can
There we go.
copy.
You-
Oh, Violet needs one.
Well,
You don't
I
have
can
it memorized?
No.
You're too generous.
This one's for Harry.
That's what we do.
So, so I'm the COA interim director. First time meeting with you. And Jane, do you want to join us or no? Jane is here because actually Council on Aging has budget that basically covers salaries, and we have currently, I think, 3,600 operating budget, and the rest, as you can imagine, that there's more needed to maintain this building and the services that we offer. The rest comes mostly from the Friends of Hadley Council on Aging, and Jane is the president of Friends. They are a major supporter, financial supporter of Council on Aging, which we are very grateful for. So I don't know if you have any questions on what we are offering for this community. We basically serve 60 and up, but there are some services that are available to younger members of this community, but there was just selected services. Yesterday, I was in front of the select board, and they accepted our restructure budget.
Pass 'em out.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, can I have one?
Here you go.
Thank you. So when I first time went in February to meet with the treasurer and and the town administrator, we were informed that we have to cut about $30,000 from our budget, which means about half full-time position. In our current situation, we already have one position vacant, and I assume the director responsibilities, and I'm continuing to do my program coordinator job. It's been 11 months. We were able to handle. We have very competent, wonderful staff that works really hard. So we were able to continue the services, high quality services that we were offering with the limited staff that we have. So to meet the current financial situation that town is in, we were able to restructure our staff. Most of the program coordinator responsibilities are spread among basically the director and the other two part-time staff that we have. Our department consists of one full-time person, two part-time office staff, and the driver. As you see, we were able to reduce from 140 staff hours to 115. The total saving came to about $6,000, which is about 3% from the town administrator budget. If you compare to the level 27 that was originally planned for us, we were able to reduce by 37,000 and change, which equals to about 17% cut in our budget.
Awesome.
So we are under the budget, and we didn't have to let go of anybody. And we are planning on managing the services and the quality of services that we are offering. So that's our plan.
I watched you present last night to the select board.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
nice.
Thank you. However, we have some concern. We hope that you're gonna want to hear about that. We recently our custodian. Well, maybe I start from this. That our maintenance. It's and preventive maintenance and cleaning was mostly based on the DPW providing the services, the building maintenance, and the custodial services. Recently, our custodian retired, and that position obviously was not filled. So, thanks to the friends, they were able to figure out working around the system way to help us, and they hire privately cleaning services. I just want to mention that cleaning services is not the same as custodial. They come here, they are having many accounts like we are. They come here, they clean the trash, they vacuum, and they go. Custodian was taking care of this building, and this is multi-million-dollar building. Like you have few other, the library, the public safety buildings. They require somebody to manage the building, to maintain the building, not only to clean. That anybody can do that. So we are advocating for, in some way, restoring the position of custodian, who will take care of all the buildings, like the custodian that retired. He took care of the town hall, the senior center, library. I think it's a difference between cleaning services and custodian, who will take care of the buildings, maintain them properly. There's a lot of systems in the buildings that need to be maintained, and I think this is a huge responsibility, and just having a cleaning services will not suffice.
So I was trying to understand what duties, because I do think that losing the custodian and the other full-time person is probably a big deal. But I don't really know what their duties are. Can it be taken over by the DPW? Is that going to be something that DPW can handle? Are we going to be in trouble because we don't have someone? Like, what do you know what they do?
Can I just
Sure.
jump in?
Yeah.
So the town does not have a facilities plan. This is something that the town needs and that we're going to be working for and towards in the future. We do not have one right now. It is a missing gap within the town, not just this building, but all of our buildings. So it's something we need to do. We're looking at the DPW. It should have been covered. I wasn't here for
We
their
did
night.
do the DPW,
So
but
they
I
cover-
was wondering from Violet's perspective what she misses.
Right, but I don't believe that the gentleman who was the custodian was maintaining the systems in the building.
Not the
correct?
systems, but he was
Okay.
able to do small repairs or
Right.
fixes.
Right.
Gary is the one that is
Yeah.
Right.
They're
in
you're-
charge of.
Your contracts are still under the DPW.
Yes.
They don't,
yes.
they don't do that.
And everything, it's just that they have added additional cleaning services, because that was one of the positions we cut. So Town Hall has a little less cleaning, Hadley Media has a little less cleaning.
Library.
And then the COA, but the COA felt that they had so much traffic, which they do, and so many bathrooms and things like that, they needed the extra support, so the Friends stepped in for them, and thankfully they have the Friends to step in that way.
We'll hear
So who would
similar
do,
concerns with the
like, what are
library.
the things like, whatever, changing light bulbs, fixing a leaky
Nobody.
sink? or
Well,
whatever?
we have to call DPW, but because they are short right now, they have some losses, right? I understand, the DPW.
The other night.
They have
Well,
less staff, so
Gary
this
Bird
is
does
not.
the lights and small leaks, he calls in a plumber, he calls in an electrician. That's still there, that's still happening.
Yeah, but it's delay, and so yeah, we don't have anybody who can do this on a spot. But when we had Ed, those small things were taken care of
Right.
because he was here on the premises. He understood our system, what is happening, and he could adjust to it. He knew when the settings in the rooms were needed. What cleaning was needed, and right now, like I said, the cleaners that we hire, yes, they keep the place clean. They come in the morning, but this is it. They just do the trash, the cleaning, and they are gone. So we don't have anybody on the premises to make sure that the building is maintained properly. We would love to have, again, somebody that works for DPW and has a position that allows them to maintain all the buildings.
How much was
That's
Ed's
my-
position, dollar-wise?
Can you
Just
speak
a-
to that?
just a
How much was
ballpark figure.
Ed's
We don't know
position?
that.
60,000?
DPW.
So is that what we talked, I don't think either one of you were at our meeting with Scott, but there's a $52,000
Probably.
maintenance
Yes.
expense that's allocated but not being used right now,
Yeah.
which is what we were talking about
we-
in our last meeting.
Ed's position, because when he announced his retirement, we used his position as one of the ones not to fill because of attrition, so that way we could save somebody else's
Right.
job that was still
Right.
here and not
Right.
retiring.
But
So-
you still allocated 52,000
For
this
FY
year.
27?
Yes.
That is for contracts, for
No.
plumbing, for things like that. That's what that is. That is a contracted services for
No.
cleaning. Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that one, that is 52,000 for contracting it out. And Peter was there saying, you remember, Peter, you said, yeah, I like that idea. And you guys were saying you want
I thought that was part of the
some.
109.
No, that's not the one.
490 on page
490s.
39
Right,
is the
but I
building
thought the
maintenance.
109 underneath that was the contracts.
409.
Or the maintenance contracts that have a standard annual fee, like maintaining the front
Okay.
doors.
All right, so the 52 is if
The HVAC systems, these annual fees that you pay. And that they had a conversation about it. The 52,000 that we added in, that was not here in earlier years, was to substitute for there not being an individual going around, that there would be more contracting for, we have a handy, whether we have a
We had a plumbing leak in the
handy
bathroom.
person,
Right.
And-
contract,
yeah.
We need to-
stop
okay.
in, come in, we have the plumbers, we have the, some
Alright.
things with the electrician, various things, so it would be directly calling these services to come in and handle particular problems.
So in theory, if someone like Ed that position was restored, would we be able to reduce that 52,000 because this person, I'm sure they can't,
Well, you'd have to put it over into their salary, and then you'd add 40% for benefits. So
and what was that?
But if they were
Again, back to my
part-time, you wouldn't
original
need benefits,
question.
right?
if they were part-time, you wouldn't need benefits as long as they were under 20 hours.
20.
So, and I mean,
And
20
did
hours for that, I mean, right now, we're already calling a contractor, plumbers and things like that fairly often when something goes wrong. Gary handles the very smaller stuff, and then when we need to call somebody in, we do. And so that's really what the change is right now, and that $52,000 will be used for that. I mean, I think when the HVAC goes down, no matter how skilled somebody is, who's the regular general maintenance person, the building
Oh, you need
supervisor,
specialty. I
we're,
get
we're,
that.
we're calling the specialist in for that. And the same thing, we had a toilet problem at town hall, some backup situation, and Gary tried to fix it, and then we ended up bringing in
was
plumbers,
contracted,
and then we ended up bringing plumbers again, and then Gary did patch the hole in the ceiling where it fell. So those are the kind of things we're going to need the funds for.
So I
So
guess
just
some
for-
of that has been in the prior year, the 109, when he has to hire those additional ones, when they can't do it out of the salary. But we sort of had to draw the line somewhere of what we could what we could put there, and we certainly weren't going to wipe it out completely
No, I get it.
by losing the individuals who are both leaving of their own volition, rather than put in an automatic replacement, especially under a hiring freeze. We thought it was more prudent to put the money down and not to leave the budget, to put it down in the contracting. And certainly if a decision was made that to put in a staffing person instead, then as Jennifer mentioned, you then have to calculate in the benefits as well.
So just for clarification, if you did have a staffing person reinstated, would that include not just the senior center, but all the town buildings, other than school?
Well, it depends.
Absolutely, it would not
Yeah.
just be this building.
And what was, like, again, what was his salary?
Well,
So
up,
it's
up
tricky.
close to 50, I guess.
Well, it's tricky because Gary's salary was in there a little bit too, but he was divided because he was also highway and water and sewer, because he was split between the three because
Yeah.
he was a supervisor. So I think it was around 50,000, 60,000.
Yep.
I mean,
Um,
one of the things that Ed did for us was, on a snow day, he cleaned all the sidewalks before they would come in here and plow, so they didn't plow back onto the sidewalks. They were working together. And the other thing that the senior center needs desperately is somebody who is young, who can move furniture, because it's constantly being moved. These tables have wheels, that's lovely. The ones in the art room have wheels, everything else doesn't.
Mhm.
So that's physical stuff, you can't push them because the legs break, we found that out unfortunately. So when select board meets, DPW comes in and sets up the tables for us. But when Gary goes, I don't know what they're gonna do, because he's the one that does it.
We're gonna come up with a stellar plan.
Great.
I mean,
That's-
the when that first started, there wasn't Ed. Ed wasn't existing when we started meeting over here.
I was younger too and I could do it.
Well,
No, you
but the
didn't move those
DPW,
tables,
the DPW can, and we'll have to figure out how, but they can set up tables the 30 minutes before they leave. And that's just something that's gonna have to happen as we're adjusting and we're tightening our belts. And Mike and I have set up tables before too, and if the new TA and I will set up tables too. I mean, this is what it is when you're talking about cutting and making adjustments.
It's kind of
Part
it.
of it is that this is how we do it.
We all pitch in.
And so that's sort of what we were looking at it like. I mean,
But what happens is if we have 9 tables in the dining room, only 6 are out right now. If when we have the spaghetti supper, we're gonna need all those tables. And they're very heavy. They're heavy because they serve seniors and seniors lean on tables and you want them stable.
Mhm.
But
We don't have anybody
we
in
don't
this
have
building that can
anyone
move
now
those
that can do
tables, so.
that.
And this is a small thing, but
It's
in
small,
general,
but it's a general
just
thing.
for functionality and safety and operational, we just advocating that if possible, we have calculations that we think it would be more advisable to have a person, a DPW staff person that will maintain the buildings. That what is our.
And the reason, and the cleaning, because if they're not, the person here comes in the morning and goes away. If somebody's cleaning in different buildings in the town and there's a problem at town hall, they can stop whatever they're doing and go there and help. Or if there's whatever's going on, if it's somebody in-house as opposed to a contracted outsider, they are here and under the control of the town, so that they are much more functional.
They
in
can
terms
focus
of-
on priorities, what is important at the moment for whichever department, whichever building, so I think it's,
Anyway, so we're just advocating for DPW.
and we're just
too.
speaking from our experience, you
Yeah.
know, what we experience after losing the person.
no, I know, I got that. I would love it too.
Override time.
Sign me up for that, please.
We'd like some in town hall.
We would love that.
I don't
but-
think the Friends are gonna cover a town hall,
Our
however.
friends aren't able to cover this forever either. That was-
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's not
Thank you very much.
sustainable, so.
No, it's not.
That's why we're advocating for some change if possible, because I know that we're lucky that Friends are having Jane, and she's great fundraiser, but Friends will not have the money always when needed, so we have to have a plan B.
Mhm.
And
The
if
other
there
thing the
were-
Friends would just like to put in there is that there have been contracts in this building that have never been filled, so that we're paying, for instance, we have a gas fireplace in the living room. Gary can work on that sometimes and fix it, but when Gary's gone and it doesn't light, we have to call the company to come in, and it's $150
And that costs money, maybe, or more.
or more,
Yeah.
unless we have a contract with them.
Yeah.
And then who's paying for that contract?
So that leads up to what I was saying, if we had a position like what we're talking about, then could that $52,000 get reduced? Because some of the, what I call lower level tasks could be
Yeah,
performed rather
That's
than
what we think.
calling in professionals.
Right, if you have a practical handyman, so to speak,
Yes.
who also has,
Jack of all trades.
has the concept of commercial cleaning. And commercial you can, house cleaners are wonderful, but they don't deal with carpets and the heavy machinery that we have here for the carpets and the floors and the various
Mm-hmm.
stuff in the kitchen. We need somebody who's got real experience in that. So, anyway, that was just our words, and thank you very much for your time.
I want to just point out that the driver that you have here,
Yeah.
that's so a lot of people don't know that here, that's a grant. Did you get reimbursed on that?
Yes, the town gets back almost all of it, right? It's on average, we file a report every month, and I think on average it's about 900,
upfront.
1,000
Yes,
coming back.
And it comes
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Does it
yeah.
come back quicker than the veterans benefit?
Yes.
Yes,
It does.
yes.
But that one comes back and
It's-
it's in the free cash, right?
Yes, okay, it's about 2 months delay to answer your question, Paul, as opposed to a 1 year delay. I think we just got in December or January. Yes, we had been running it so that it's in the fund and the fees come in and they spend it out of that, but it gets very awkward. The net difference to the town is exactly the same both ways, so we found it much simpler. If you're going to contract and have drivers, put the cost in the budget, and then when the reimbursement comes in, it goes into our revenues. So it's just a much, much smoother process, and one less accounting step, really, because we don't have an extra fund.
It goes into the revenues, well, it just goes in, but we don't have a revenue line item for
Sure.
it. It's in revenue.
Sure, yeah. Where were we, page 30? Yeah, it's got a revenue line.
It does. Okay.
Every department does. COA receipts.
Oh, okay,
We
that's in the
took in,
COA
we
receipts.
estimate about $12,000 of revenue receipts.
That's,
And that's pretty much,
From the
I
driver.
think that's all.
Almost,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's exclusively
It's a
this.
100%?
Almost,
Yes,
yes,
PBTA.
yes. We are very fortunate to have this grant.
okay, so I have another question about another grant, because part of your pay in the previous years was coming out of grant funding and you weren't completely being funded
Yes.
through
So now it will
the
be.
budget. Now it will be. Now that grant funding are you still getting that?
Yes, we are getting as long as we file the report every year.
Okay.
And we're using this for other expenses because our operating budget is only 3,600.
Right.
So everything else, as you can imagine, it costs much more to
Yeah.
provide the services and programming. We are using
Okay,
our grants and the fees we collect for some activities and,
The thing you didn't tell them is how many people you serve.
yeah, do you know how many people we serve?
A lot.
Yes, yes, we do. So on an average daily, it's about 120. Tuesdays are the busiest, about 140. I don't know why. Then about 1,000 different individuals received last year services or participate in programming in this town. And then yearly it's over 30,000 service
come through
units
the door.
that we provide here at the Council on Aging. So
And-
I think the volume is.
How many are out of town?
Maybe
you know, like-
25%?
Yes. We can't stop anybody from coming. It's a public
No,
building.
I was just curious as
But
to the
we do
facilities that we
charge.
have.
But we do, yes, we do
Okay.
have
With
great,
their program fees,
yes.
they get a bump.
people, because of the current situation, we encourage people out of town to donate extra for using the facility, the activities, for using not the facility, for doing activities, and they are very generous. We ask for some nominal number, and they pay extra. They are very generous. So we have to admit that.
They're more generous than our people.
Yes.
What can I say?
And
They feel guilty.
and they also sometimes just pay out of nowhere extra. They leave extra donations because they just feel that we are providing such a good service,
good.
and they understand that the priority always goes to the residents, and for that reason they feel fine paying extra fees. For certain activities, when the fee is for activity, the resident pays less and non-residents pay higher fee. Just to,
Yep, and don't forget, Jane, our people are paying it
They're
for the
paying it
buildings.
differently.
They're
They
paying
are-
it.
Yeah, we're paying the taxes.
They are definitely paying it in their taxes.
Okay.
and most people understand that.
Yeah.
We didn't have any issues with people out of town paying extra.
And so I just wanted to point out that all this is being serviced and all this is being done by yourself, who's 40 hours, and then you're gonna have the other 2 people at 30 hours each. So
Yes.
that's 3 people doing everything.
Yes.
How many volunteers do you have?
Around 100.
100 volunteers.
Yes.
It's impressive.
And the number of hours they put
About
in, and
six-
that's only if they
6,000.
report them.
6,000.
6,000
Yes.
hours of
A year,
volunteers.
yeah.
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 The place,
Of course, but you have to understand that it's wonderful that we have our volunteers and they put so much time, but they require coordination,
Of
and that's what we do.
That's what
It doesn't happen just automatically, and we are grateful for that. We are just a big, great team that works together.
Good.
So,
yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to point out a few of those things.
Okay, thank you.
All set. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Sorry. to
That's
keep you
okay.
last.
That's all right.
All right. let's get your page. But thank you for your patience.
Sure thing.
Page 43.
Okay. One-man show here.
Here we go. All right.
She is it.
So I'm just going to give a general overview for those who might not know kind of what I do. And then I'll get into some other things. So as far as Park and Rec, so with my leadership and key partnerships, as I kind of call them, my my department is structured so it's a single director, meaning me, operation managing all administrative, athletic, and community programming. So the operational demand, so I'm set at 37 and a half hours, but to maintain the current service standards and safety for the role and consistency, I usually put in about 47 and a half-ish hours a week. And that's just what I do. Some of the academic partnerships that I've established coming from working with the school district. So I have the Key Club at Hopkins Academy, and I work with the National Honor Society, and those students are looking for community hours for their merits, so to speak. So I use them for my events, basically, and seasonal things that I would be putting on. So I am very lucky to have that relationship, especially with the high school, because obviously the older kids can help me more, although the little kids do help me a lot in other ways. As far as community support, so I rely on local residents, my board members, to help facilitate my large-scale community activities, such as basically like my big holiday events. Like I have the Easter egg hunt coming up next weekend, Christmas, Halloween, things like that. Because as you know, as one person, you can't do it all. So that's where I call in help for that, and those are all, like I said, those are all community and volunteer hours. As far as staffing, it just is kind of resounding. So major holiday events, I need like a minimum of about 10 people to help things be successful, I would say. So I just keep on going back as far as coaching, things like that. Just really supportive people that help me out. When it comes to the financial structure and management part, so the revenue model of my department is kind of based on, so 100% of my registration fees that are funded go into the revolving account. So that would sustain operations. My resource allocation, so basically the field use that I use for activities for all of my sports, and safety. So things such as like, I have to line the soccer fields. So Park and Rec is responsible for lining the soccer fields during soccer season, replacing bases on our own softball field that we put in actually almost 3 years ago. Safety kits, first aid, things like that you have to have on hand. That's all things that I'm responsible for Park and Rec, even though I'm using the school. Most of my activities, sports, and things like that are used at the elementary school because I only do sports from preschoolers to 6th grade. So that would make sense to use the regulation size fields out of the elementary school. And then, so for athletics, the cost for uniforms, nets, sports specific equipment, that all is going into what I would use out of my budget. And then community engagement. So when I do a community event, it costs money to put it on, and I don't charge the people who come to the events. Some communities do charge, like I even saw, like it was like $25. Hatfield did, I think it was a Halloween event, and you had to pay $25 to go just to their event, where I'm still able to host these community events for basically the seasonal things and not have a charge, so the community can just come and utilize that. I'd say for each sport, I require, it averages about 4 to 8 volunteers to remain operational. So that means me not coaching. I ask parents to volunteer their time for, it depends on what sport, what season I'm coming into. I usually start off the season, and then, I show up on Saturday mornings when I can, things like that. And then I end the season with my volunteers and make sure everything is going well in between. And then, so there's some, I do have most of my programs, I would say, is all Hadley residents as far as going through the school district, but there's also some there's some HIPAA rules around me actually finding out the data for if they're school choice or not school choice. The only reason I'm bringing that up is I can, if they tell me that they are not from here, like I just got a phone call from West Springfield, a family from West Springfield, and they don't actually go to school here, but they found out from a friend that the rec programs here are great, and they have a young son, I believe they said, and they want to come up here to do T-ball because in West Springfield they have like a specific birth date you have to be for before they would take this person. So they're going to come up. I know they don't go to school here, but they're going to come up on Saturdays to start T-ball whenever we can get out for that. And then the other things that I do for adults, I have on Monday nights, I have pickleball. It's usually adults. I have high school kids that come. It's usually not younger than high school. And then on Wednesday nights, I have pickup basketball, which is usually, actually, I've had a lot of Hopkins students that graduated last year. They're actually coming back to play. So it's basically pretty much high school and up. And I streamline that through a free app that I use. It's called Team Reach. You have to sign up ahead of time because there's such a hit for these two things. So I have to cap it at 20 people because otherwise I have about 40 people coming to play, and it just doesn't work out because you have to have it scheduled properly. So people get, fair playing time and things like that. I have some policies set in place. If they cancel before 24 hours, they get charged $10, just as a courtesy to be mindful for people who are on a wait list, because there's usually a wait list every week for both of those events. And other than that, for programs, that's really the only app I kind of use, and people kind of use that on their own. And then just for like general activities, it's gonna sound like a lot, but I'm just gonna run through them real quick. So these are all the things that come through Park and Rec. Some you might know, some you might not know. So for children's activities, I do fall soccer, winter cheerleading, winter basketball. I usually hold a basketball clinic, so a free basketball clinic. I usually get either the UMass women's basketball team to come over, they'll do a free clinic, or the men's basketball team. This year I couldn't get either, and Hopkins was tied up. So anyways, that didn't happen this year. Going into spring, I do T-ball for the littles. So littles I consider age 3 to 6, so the itty bitties. I recently took on, which doesn't cost anything, I collaborated with the community group that comes over to the library. So they do, it's called the Storybook in the Park. So they come up to Zaterka Park and they'll put up a story around that's laminated. They do all the work, and it's kind of nice. You just like walk around and read the story as you go. So that's been really nice. They're going to do it the first week of April, I believe. And then I do Halloween with, there's many of us involved in Halloween now, but Hadley PTO, Friends of Hadley Preschool, the police department, fire department. That's become a collaborative event. I do lunch with Santa with the fire department. My Easter egg hunt, that's also with the fire department. And when I came on, the first year I came on, I brought back the road race. So I have a 5K that is probably going to be on hold for this year due to budgetary restraints. I can answer questions on that if you want me to. And then going into adults, so for adult activities, I have the pickleball league I talked about. I have pickup hoops. And then once a year, I call it the Hadley Heroes. So I try to get police and fire together to do a basketball game against each other. It's really fun. I was able to pull it off one year. This year, I wasn't able to pull it off, but I'm looking forward to getting something together in the spring, maybe do a pickleball tournament. That's always fun. My road race, and then recently I took I went to school in Northampton, and I took a 3-month-long course, 200 hours to become a certified yoga instructor. So I have been slowly trickling yoga into Hadley. I actually was asked to be a guest PE teacher at Hopkins for the last 2 days. So I taught yoga to the senior class yesterday and today, which was really, really, really fun to go over and see the kids that I've known since they were, well, I won't say how old, because then that'll reveal how old I really am. Do you have any questions on anything I've gone over so far?
So basketball, you mentioned you have basketball. Is that the same as CYO? That's
No. So, are you talking about for the kids?
Yeah.
So I do preschool through 2nd grade.
Oh.
So preschool and kindergarten, that's 1 hour once a week on Saturday mornings. And then we team up with the Frontier League for the 1st and 2nd graders. That was kind of in place when I took over. I think there's some history there of why it's split up and stopped at 2nd grade, and then 3rd grade goes to CYO.
Okay.
So it's the same with soccer. I team up with the Frontier League for the younger kids, and then the older kids go to a more competitive league, which is the Roots League. So that's more traveling, more competitive, more expensive, all sorts of things like that.
The other question I had was, you talked about the expenses and like the lines and all that kind of stuff. Is that, when you talk about the paying for the expenses, do you pay for it out of this line item that's $10,000, or do you pay out of your revolving account that you have?
Usually it's out of my revolving. Yeah, it is. And I have some numbers just like to give you, because the paint is kind of wild. So let's see, let's say I went back and did some numbers. So for this past soccer season, I ordered 6 cases of paint, and it cost about $408. And I pretty much used all of that. So it's fairly expensive, and paint has gone up. It just keeps going up more and more. Yes, Peter?
Well, plus also, the reason why you're going through all that paint is because let's just say the fields over at Hopkins aren't as good as they should have been done by, that they now have to come to the elementary school and use your fields. Whether baseball, because you have Cal Ripken, of all the parents putting in their own, volunteering their time to fixing the fields, and then Hopkins has priority over those fields.
Correct.
So they're wrecking all the lines, so all the lime that you're using for doing all the fields, soccer fields too, the nets, the varsity and JVs using all those, and they're damaging the nets. I was one of them that had to use zip ties just to fix the nets because of the heavy use, because of the problems we have over at the field. So I can absolutely see why you're using all that extra paint, because it's not just for one sport, or one league, it's for JV and varsity, because of the problems we have with the drainage over at the Hopkins.
I will say, to your point, I am really lucky not to have 8 teams using one field, but I feel like I'm really proud of working very closely with the athletic director and Jeff Mish. They really helped me out a lot because they both have been there and both been coaches and have seen the programs come up. So it's kind of like one day I'll get a phone call, hey, do you want me to paint your lines for you? And even though they're using my paint, it's me not having to physically go out or ask my, is Jim still here? Yeah, or ask Jim to be like, hey, Jim, can you go paint the lines for me? It's just like one, so it's nice to have that collaboration. It is frustrating at times, but there's nothing, well, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I kind of just like roll with it. But Peter's correct. So Hopkins, sports, anything can bump any of my programs. So if they need the gym, that's it. Like, I cancel what I need to, and that it rarely happens for the gym use. We use the same calendar, so I have to do a building use form, it's called. So it's pretty much between all of the entities that use the elementary school and Hopkins have to submit these forms, so everyone can keep track of who's using the gym, because only having 2 gyms in town, or 2 spaces, I should say, literally, to do so many activities is pretty much my most challenging, I would say, thing. If we could have like a state-of-the-art fitness facility, it would be so great. But obviously that's not happening. But yes, soccer season gets tricky. I have no idea the shape of the fields at this point. I walk the elementary school fields often. They're looking pretty good and dry for the winter we've had. I haven't checked out Hopkins, even though I was there, but I had to get back to real work. But yeah, it is coming to that time where, everyone kind of is scrambling for field use. So,
So question, if all,
Sure.
if all of your stuff, the lines and all the uniforms, everything's coming out of your revolving account, what is this equipment and program supply with 10 grand? What is that?
So that's hold on, I just have to get there. So I can, when I do an order, depending on who I'm ordering from and what it is, I can break it down and use a specific line item. But essentially, it's all out of my same budget. It's just what I'm expending it to. Do you know what I mean?
No, you lost me on that one.
Is there a better way to say it, Linda?
Are there things that are coming out of here that don't relate to a program? I think that they don't relate to a specific program. I think that's the way I thought of it. But if that's not,
Is that what you mean, like a specific?
Well, Pete
Program?
they had asked how you pay for all the paint and all that stuff, and you said it comes out of your revolving account, which wasn't this $10,000. So what does this $10,000 consist of?
Well, we only use.
Uniforms,
Yeah, so
it's been about
baseballs.
3,500 spent so far.
yeah, so anything like, I mean, I have to buy a lot of things. Like, so if I put on an event, like even my Easter egg event, I scaled, like I usually buy 5,000 Easter eggs. This year I bought 3,000 to try to save money and things like that. So if it's specific equipment, then I would take it out of there. If it was for a holiday, things like that.
A holiday event, it comes out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's no
and-
revenue from that. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Okay.
And like Peter said, like uniforms, things like that. I try to just like break it up so it's itemized more, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I do have I feel like I have a big variety of things because of all the things I do. So, sports, you don't really think, oh, like how much would you really need for sports? And yeah, I don't need basketballs every year, but sometimes
They need to be
they get
replaced.
lost, or sometimes, I don't know. You don't ever really know. I just try to anticipate for what's gonna come down the road. And just to go through some numbers as far as actual registrations. So I believe when I started, my predecessor, he had already left. So I kind of just came in, and with the help of my board members, I kind of just took over and they helped me go through all the programs and things like that. But I can proudly say that I believe I've grown the programs pretty extensively. So just for example, the littles, so preschool and kindergarten as I call them, just the last season alone, I had 56 kids.
Wow.
So that was pretty much, I think it was about 80% of the preschool program. They came through. So that was great. I had, let's see, over 30 kids for first and second grade. This is all soccer. And then grades 3 through 6, I had 3 teams. And then for basketball, that would be 25 and 26 because, it starts in November and usually ends in March. So in preschool and kindergarten, I had about 40 kids. And then first and second grade, I had over 2 teams. So that was actually having 10 plus kids on each team, which is big. This season I'm coming into right now, which is T-ball. Registration just ended on Monday. And this is the largest T-ball group I've seen, and it's mostly preschoolers, some kindergartners. You can play up, but you can't play down, so it depends on your birthday too. But I have some kindergartners who are old enough to go to softball. So this is just mainly, I have preschoolers this year, so I already have 38 signed up, and that's going to start depending on the fields, but I plan to try to start the week before April vacation. And I always do a grace period of late registration, obviously with no fee to the family. If they're late, people are busy. I always get emails and scrambling. Do you still have room? I always try to accommodate families because I know life is busy for them. And other than that, I think that's what I had to cover. If anyone has any questions, or I don't know, Jim, if you thought I missed anything. No.
No, good. No questions here. You have a
Okay.
pretty straightforward budget. It's
It is.
I don't
And the numbers look good.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's the thing, is the numbers look good. The kids are still wanting to play.
Yeah.
And they want to
Yeah,
play
they
the
do.
fun, the
Yeah.
fun like you're doing it.
Thanks.
So
I love it.
that's a big part of it too.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Great job.
I do. The kids, they make it all worth it for sure.
The hot dog run that you weren't able to put on this year, where did the money that you raised for that, did that go to a certain place before?
So that still isn't profitable.
Okay.
So that's one reason why I'm not doing it this year,
Okay.
because it's a building. To do a 5K is a lot of work. And it's a building piece, I would say, over years. So this would have been my 3rd year. I think might have been my biggest year. But I also have to have, it's called an incident action plan. So that's in case of a tornado, an active shooter, a major catastrophe. So I basically take all of our town resources, police, fire. I have to have an ambulance. There's about 12 of us on this team. That has to be in place. That's a law and a rule. And the police and fire department always donated their time for me, which is awesome. They can't do that this year. We don't have enough people. We don't have an ambulance that can just sit there for me and wait and make sure everyone was okay coming across the finish line. So I really had to take that into effect, thinking going forward, because I usually start planning the 5K in September, and it wouldn't happen until May of the next year. So with all the things that us as a team would talk about, I just kept thinking, it probably is a good year to put a pause on it. I can't hire.
It's not profitable for you either.
And I would, if I had the resources, I would still like to go and try to build it, because I think it could be big. 5Ks are really big in this area, and especially in Hadley. People really liked it. It's flat here.
It's flat.
There's no
It's
hills,
great.
so people
run
loved
it
the course.
twice.
It was great. So I think I really
good.
could have run with it, and I'm not giving up on it. So I think, I don't know. Maybe FY27 will be a nice surprise. I do have a lot of sponsors, so that's another great sponsorship. The bank helps, and I have I do have great local people who are really willing to help out with sponsorships. So even just Tandem Bagel, they paid for my T-ball shirt, so that's not coming out of my budget this year, which is awesome.
Awesome.
So just stuff like that is really helpful. But the 5K, it's gonna come back. It's just on pause for now.
Good.
So you can lace up your racing shoes for next year.
I'll wait to see you at the finish line. I'll wait for you to come down.
Well, thank you so much. For
Sure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim, for coming. Okay.
She didn't need you. She was the muscle.
I didn't know he was coming.
She didn't ask me to come, I just showed up.
I told her you
Well, you're
said
doing a good job.
she had to come because she's fun.
Yes, the fun part. Save the most fun for last, right?
Yes.
Amy's
right.
like, they don't want to talk to me, do they? I
I'm
said,
like,
oh, they do.
No, they don't want to talk to me.
No, they really do.
Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
this is the time for you to tell everybody and anybody that watches what you do and all the different
is,
it
programs
is.
that you have.
Yeah, it is.
And
It
it's a
is.
time for you to shine.
It is.
I didn't
fun.
realize you did that much, so
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
a lot tonight too.
Well, good. You stop by anytime. Anytime you want to see anything or do, I don't know. There's always something going on.
Because those are exciting.
Oh, they're so. Oh my
She's
god.
always got candy on her desk too.
Yeah, I always.
She does.
I always have candy. Right, Linda?
Yes, ma'am. Some days it's important.
That's right. That's right.
I will say the adults are just as crazy about her as the kids are, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Oh, well, now you're
pickleballers.
just.
Oh, I
being-
did the pickleball a couple times.
They're as a group, the pickleballers are crazy about her, and the
Yeah.
fact that she puts it on for the town, like
It is great.
it's such a success.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Even the out of towners come.
Oh, yeah.
And is there
Oh, yeah.
Or
like,
try
like,
to.
like the basketball? Is there a fee for the pickleball? Like $3 to play pickleball?
Yeah, $6.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I could easily add another night, but we're all fighting for gym space.
Right.
So, and like, so Cal Ripken, they're starting inside because it's too cold in the fields. So I can't bump everybody. I have to share. So, but I do get first right. Park and Rec does get first right to the gym, which is pretty special. So everyone has to line up behind me. But we're all, everyone's great with the schedules. Like we all talk. I talk to all the organizations and the coaches. Hey, do you mind if we use Tuesday night at 6 o'clock instead of? I'm like, yeah. Like we all just try to, because everyone's volunteering their time. So it's like. It's volunteers across the board, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and everybody's busy, and it's, late at night, and so we're really lucky to have the schools, and I feel really lucky.
But kind of
so.
like what Violet said, you might have a lot of volunteers, but you need someone to coordinate all the volunteers.
Yeah,
That's right.
it is true,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't be as successful without my volunteers, so I can't coach at all. I would love to, but I have to draw the line.
It'd be a lot of yoga.
There would be a lot of
Yeah, I
yoga. Yeah, yoga to town hall.
I took her class. She's a good yoga teacher.
I want her to do
Thank
yoga
you.
at town hall for everybody after
Yeah.
hours.
I know.
I think it'd be a big hit.
It was awesome doing the senior class today. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So yes, yoga is coming.
She's our yogi.
I have to put it in the schedule.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
Bye.
Amy.
Are
I
we
have
gonna finish up
Historical.
our historical? Let's
Now,
do it.
they are the last one on page 43.
43.
I have been in touch with Courtney Meyer. She wanted to come and then was not able to come. Yes, it's a $900 budget, but they pack a lot for the punch, so I just want to read. her statement about what they do. Last year, they used the funds to purchase History Lives Here lawn signs to place in front of historical signs and structures in town during the month of May, which is Historical Preservation Month. It was a way to get residents engaged with and excited about the history of their beloved town, as well as allow homeowners to share their pride of their historical home. So they bought the lawn signs for that. And then this year, in conjunction with the Hadley Historical Society, the Historical Commission plans to put on an event in celebration of the country's 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. We plan to purchase wreaths and/or signs to place on homes that are still standing from 1776 and earlier. We also plan to put out a survey to gauge people's interest in purchasing a historical plaque reflecting the date and historical name of the home. Completing the survey may require some of our funding. There will likely be other projects that will arise over the coming year. So they don't get a lot of money. I think they went from $300 total about 5 years ago to jumped to tripling that to $900, and they use most of it, and they run programs, and they want it to be heard too.
But this year, have they spent, I mean, I know that this is only through December. As of right now, have they spent any money?
Not yet. Not yet, but they talk about this program that's coming up for May.
The 250.
Yeah, the 250th. So they will. Once you order signs, it's yeah, and or perhaps plaques, and also they're gearing up for a program in the spring.
Okay.
So that is them. You want to do finance committee, or do you want to go to the? You want to cover something else? I think that we can do, maybe want to talk about any of the benefits or the debt and interest. What would you like to maybe pick something? Because I know 2
Go to
hours is
finance
kind of about
committee.
it. Let's do you.
It's only
You
one
do you.
item.
What page is that?
You are page 25. So it's pretty much kept at $200. I did your budget for you, by the way, so I'll explain it to you. It's the dues, it's the annual dues is really your only expense. And so it's up to went from 173 to 177, so just to be sure that you have enough money, we continue to maintain it at $200. There are other programs that you can go to, but most of them are, I think most of them are free. They're finance committee programs that we used to go to. I know there's one each year for new finance committee members that they put that on once a year. I think that's in the fall, though, because appointments are usually as of July 1. So if you're on your website and see what there is for Mass Finance Committee members, I think that's good. And if you were
Is
to
there
start,
a login for that we could, like, if we like to get anything saying we're a member, if we
Yeah.
go to the site, do we need a special login?
that's a good question. I think if you go to that answer would be on the Mass Town and the Mass Town
Right.
Finance Committee Association or something like that. I think that we could Google that and find out what there is, and there probably is. I know I went there once because I was looking for the handbook, and it is free to members, and it's something like $40 otherwise. So you need to log in to do
As a
that.
member.
Yeah,
We need some kind of reference that we are members.
yeah. So you would have. I mean, that would probably be something that
ID or something.
you might get through the clerk's office
use
or
your
something, but.
official town ID that says you're a finance committee member.
Yeah, and so you can get them free, or then when someone has an they come electronically, so you'd get it streamed, you'd get it right away, and
Missed
you
it when
can
I got my salary check.
just send it around.
That's what it is. It's coming. That was
Both of us, Peter.
our badges were cut out of the budget last year.
So when you go to the MMA website, it'll take you right to the finance website. I just Googled it,
Yeah.
and it says how to join down there, which is Denise Baker. She's the project coordinator for the MMA. I can help.
Well, I've
If you
talked to
want.
her before because
Yeah, she's
we
great.
we did set up, and we did tell her that we would be willing to help in any way for that event that she wants to put on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great. This will be the second year, and that's really
It is.
exciting.
I think it's good to stay anchored with the state finance committees because a lot, just because of the times, the finance committee across the state are going through a lot of the same issues at the same time.
Yeah,
and there's
did
a
you
lot
get
of
that
shared
date
resources.
that we had? Because I talked
think-
about that last week.
Yes, you did.
When was
Yeah,
it?
you, the program that they're having here. Oh, my
For some reason, I
calendar's in the
think I
car.
said the 16th of
16th?
April.
Okay. The other good thing about y'all hosting them out here is that often with MMA programs, they try to come out west a lot, but they very often tend to stay in that 495 area.
Yeah.
So anytime they can come out here, it's really, really great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then this program attracted people from
Is there a date?
even further west.
Yeah,
You know,
and
we
then you get-
really
you
pulled
get
in the
Berkshire
western
coming
part of
over,
the state
which
on this, because I don't.
Yeah, because me and Andy went to the one that was hosted by Munson.
Yeah.
We went to that one last year.
Yeah.
It makes such a
It's
big
the same,
difference
yeah,
when
it's
y'all
the
are willing
same
to host
thing,
it.
but I'm pretty sure I said the 16th. I will double check it though.
Pam, can I have another one I wrote on it?
Yes. And then your reserve fund, it is something I think we want to discuss a little
Yeah.
bit. Last year, it was very low, and that is one of the ones that we were able to increase at the fall town meeting. I think we increased, when we added free cash in the fall. I think at this time last year, we had it at 20 or 25, and then when it was voted in the spring, we were able to put it up to 75. Personally, I prefer to have it up there because then you've got a source of income that can handle something really unexpected, although unexpected expenses are getting to be
Normal.
higher and higher.
Normal?
Yeah, higher than,
Expected,
More
right?
expected than
yeah,
unexpected?
yeah, unexpectedly high. But it's something, and it gets, you know, it can get a department through, maybe something like needing some money to apply for a grant, and then they get the grant and you can get it back. You know, so the things that come up during the year. So, but
So
you are the
personally, I
last
think
piece.
that one needs to go up.
I do too.
I definitely think that we want to be at the 75 because things like, just like when you needed the deputy, we needed to put in, or just those unexpected things we have to.
Sure, but let me tell you what I was thinking. You don't need 75,000 between now and special town meeting. That there are that where we were trying to make the $1.5 million of cuts, and thinking that maybe we would have a difference in revenues that we would be able to spend at the fall town meeting, that this is a budget that you could easily do at 25 and put off that 50 till later, or add in 25,000 or something else. And also, we're playing that against real expenses. I mean, basically, $75,000 is a person. So, I mean, it's very hard to decide. We'd just like to have $75,000 sitting somewhere, and then you get laid off. So it was a balancing act, and I think that's kind of where we have. I will admit that it's, you know, lower than I would like to see, but I think that for the 25. It's probably a good start, and it's one of those, depending on where we come in for free cash, because it's kind of like free cash. It's not really a budget item, it's just sitting there. That is something that we could replenish in the fall, the way you can't really make repairs to other budgets in the same way in the fall. So that's where it is, but I am interested in your opinions about that and what you're thinking. Maybe that this is not a habit that we want to get into. We know that we have particular things hitting the budget this year, particularly in the drop in the free cash that we're using. We're going to have that one-time drop that we're experiencing that we wouldn't have in future years. So this is a year perhaps to keep it lower, thinking that this is that we won't do this again. But
At previous years, how high was it?
I think 75 is kind of it. It's very possible. I
We
kind of
had it at
remind it might have
100.
been 100 once.
And
Yeah.
around COVID.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's ever been more than that. It's been the type of thing, and when I've been doing the budget, that the tighter we had to compress the budget, the more important reserve fund was, not less. Because as you're sort of, when there's plenty of money, every budget tends to have a little bit of a cushion. Not a bad thing, but just, I'm gonna budget this maybe a little bit more just in case I don't have enough. So then what we ask them to do is take those cushions and we'll put them here, and what we put over in reserve fund is actually less than all of them added up. So this is what Reserve Fund is for, is to provide that a community cushion instead of individually throughout. So I think we did go through that process last year already. So I would say this year, and there were no more there were no more cushions in the budgets this year. So it doesn't work in quite, not quite as effective as it was. But yeah, that is a place to look to if we find that we've got, look to putting the money if we find. I mean, there's plenty of places you can put extra money if we find it coming in. But there you are.
Did you want to go over any of the others, or do you want to just add them to another night? It's up to you.
Well, do you want to take care of the, I mean, these are, what?
We could do,
One of the later
do-
ones, I would
do
say.
insurance. I could give a little update on that.
Okay, why don't we see, because we've talked about it before, let's just zip down and take care of the 900s, which is page 45. And so most of it I can just address and one and done. Retirement, that's an amount that we receive. We're told what the bill is, and that's what it is. And we always pay it by July 1 rather than pay it twice, half and half during the year, because we do. It is usually a substantial savings. I think this year, I think the savings was about $40,000 to pay it in July, so that's what we do. Next is workers' comp. There's a little bit of a boost there. I talked with Susan Glowatsky on that one. I think this, as with all of them, we have cut tight, but I'm hoping that's going to be okay. Unemployment. We had to increase that, knowing that the number of layoffs that we're having. Once again, as we did last year, going into the fall, we are working to try and have as many of the positions, even if it means a little bit of arranging things between departments, have them come from natural departures, people's own departures, as opposed to having to do actual layoffs. If someone is retiring or resigning or getting a job elsewhere, unemployment is not an issue. But if we're going to do direct
6-month expenditures, they look, pretty lean right now.
What is
For
this year.
unemployment, yeah, $6,000.
that was through December.
December, yeah.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, no, it's higher than that now. Because the layoffs, remember, happened in the fall after town meeting. 914. So, no, wrong one. 913.
Wrong place, if you'll remember.
What?
Oh wait, they didn't. Never mind.
913. Okay, so right now we're about 35,000. So,
Pretty much on
So-
track.
In
So-
February,
And it's gonna go up.
yeah, so 35,000, and I do expect we will, given the monthly amount that we're paying right now, that we will use up that 60,000 this year. So we'll see how far the 90 takes us. Again, that might be one. Actually, I did put it up. I'm sorry. That's 100.
so to 100.
Yeah, I moved it to 100. It just seemed, as we were going through and having to make cuts, I just put it up some more. I don't know what to guess for that. Health insurance, let's, hold on. Life insurance, non-issue, Medicare, it's a percentage of OPEB we're not doing, and voluntary accident, yeah, the others I think we don't need to spend any time on, and then I'm going to turn back to Jennifer on the health insurance issue. Now,
She's
Now
hanging
you may
on to me
speak.
about my finger. I'm using it. I'm putting it up a lot. So health insurance, we have been. I've started meeting with the IAC, which is the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. Also has an IAC, and each member of the trust is on there as a voting member. So I've begun attending those meetings. They have come up with a plan. Right now they are recommending a more modest 12.48% increase. We don't know right now who's going to stay on our insurance, who's going to leave our insurance. But right now it looks like it's going to be less than the 16% that they were originally forecasting, which is a good thing. But we are going to have to do impact bargaining with the unions on this, because you have to impact bargain with the unions when you make change to their insurance plans. So that is coming our way. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I'm going to meet with the IAC. I have a meeting scheduled with them on Monday to form the next part of it, which is the PEC, which is the Public Employee Committee, and they will be the ones doing the negotiating with the town for this.
Do they realize, if they don't wanna go along with this, that could mean there's less of them around too?
I think
I hate to be
no, I think
blunt about
I
it,
think
but-
all of us realize that so many things right now, depending on how much we can flex and work with each other, is depending. A lot of people's jobs are depending on that, and I think a perfect example tonight was Violet and how she looked and rearranged, and Ben, he did it right there in the room the day we were like, look, this is what we need to cut from you. He immediately dug right in, and I think that everybody is realizing that, and perhaps if somebody took a little bit longer to get there, they're getting there now, because this isn't fun for any of us to come in and have to be like, this is what we do and this is what we need, and y'all have to be like, well, I understand that, but we don't have the funds for that. So I think everybody is, if they didn't get it by now, Paul, they got it. They got it now. They didn't have it before.
And are you now the voting member then, representing Hadley?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm the IAC member for the town of Hadley.
All right.
I'm doing it in conjunction with conferring with Linda. I brought Joan back in to confer with, because she was the IAC member for the town of Hadley for 25,
A long time.
26 years.
The whole time she was here, really.
So I've gone over it with her a few times. But as Joan said, this was unprecedented. Like this, what's happened in the last 3 years, nobody saw that really coming in insurance world.
In the history of the trust, it only happened twice.
It's quite.
15,
Yeah.
20 years ago they had.
Yes.
So who does the negotiations with the unions? Who, as representing for the town, is that the ATA, the TA, or who's supposed to be negotiating in best interest for the town, yet also with the employee to what they should be getting to?
Oh, that's interesting. So in the past, union negotiations have been made up of the town administrator, and then when we had an HR director, the HR director. So it'll be the TA and the ATA right now, and then we've brought in a select board member in the past for sort of what your liaison is. So like Molly sat in on fire and the municipal employees. Randy sits in on the DPW, just depending on their liaison assignments. For the health insurance, I'm meeting with the select board to discuss that with them at their meeting on April 1st. And I'll be able to tell you exactly who all will be participating in it then. This is going to be impact bargaining. It is not with individual unions. It's with the PEC, and their votes are going to be weighted by the membership makeup. So the schools are going to be the biggest driver. They have the most employees in the union, and employees.
So each of the unions sends a representative to this.
But then their vote
PEC.
weighs
Weighted-
more. So the teachers
weighted
union
votes.
is going to get a heavier vote than the DPW
Municipal.
supervisors union, which has 2 members, versus the schools. I think there's 100 and some odd. So the weight, it's a weighted vote, and we'll negotiate with them all at one time. So it'll be hopefully a one go sit down.
Yep.
And I think the union knows we don't have a lot to move around on here. So as Paul said, we don't have a lot of places to go. So the hope is that they're going to see that the increase is less, it's still, the trust keeps using the word savings. And I'm becoming more and more frustrated by that word, because yes, we're saving. We're saving from 16 to 12.48, but it's still going up 12.48% from where it already went up before, after 2 enormous increases. And then the reality is we're going to have to do very soon. We're going to have to get the numbers from the trust and start looking at GIC and looking at the other options. For right now, Hadley, for various reasons, missed that opportunity. For right now, we are with the trust for this fiscal year, but we have to have ourselves together and ready to look at going into, if we want to look at going into the GIC in December. That's when their enrollment time is, so we have to be prepared to do that. And again, we'll have to meet with the IAC, and then we'll have to negotiate with the PEC, and then we'll have to go in and make those changes.
So would you look at Maya?
We will look at Maya and GIC.
And GIC
Mhm.
and the trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would do a,
Well, it seemed like from what I've been hearing, you know, with my job, that most of the towns, not all of them, but they're staying with the trust. And they feel like the worst is over and it's kind of stabilized now. And there are, I forget what, 12 or so that pulled out, or
I thought it was only 7, and
7
then
out of what, 72? Yeah,
74, yeah. So it's not a lot, and the
No.
ones that pulled out were tiny.
Yes.
Like Bernard's didn't pull
Bernard's
it
didn't pull
out.
it out.
Was it,
Yeah.
what's that other L one out there?
Leiden.
Leiden, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they pulled out. They're very small ones, so they don't even have a big impact on our
Doesn't.
negotiating power, because they're, some of those towns are one of our unions. So, and our vote is also weighted, for the record. Our vote is weighted
The
on
town, yeah.
how many people we have representing. So, as for how bargaining, when it would impact who's in the bargaining session, I will say that employees who are not in the union are not represented in the PEC. So, but there is an retiree representative.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's kind of good news, but not really.
But it's a savings.
It's a savings.
And
I think if you
and
say
if we're lucky, we're going to save. We'll save too from what what we budgeted.
They did do a really. They did a lot of work. They did. They went out for RFPs for health insurance, and for pharmacy. And I mean, they've put in the work. They're really trying to make some changes, which is, I think, really great to see.
Consultant on board now
Mm-hmm.
too.
I have a consultant on board, and yeah.
So Linda, what does that number look like now
So-
at that 13%?
Yes. So keep in mind that the difference of every 1% is close to $20,000.
Yep.
So if you just use 20, that's pretty good. So I know when I was originally trying to come up with it, we were being told 16 to 20%. And I used 20%, and we just really needed that money. So I put it at 16%, and just crossed my fingers. And then, in a rare piece of good news in the budgeting world, because usually things are up from what we budgeted, it went, we got this 12.8 to 16% range instead, and I had budgeted at the 16. So it's possible that at first blush you say, oh, so we're over budgeted by, well, it's 12.8, not 12, so we're over budgeted by like $70,000. But whether we would actually realize all of that when we get through negotiating and or impact bargaining, I don't know. So the best thing to do, I think, and we also don't know that they won't have another mid-year increase. So the best thing to do for right now, for going into annual town meeting, I think, is leave it there.
Sit it.
He's over there shaking his head,
Highly
looking worried.
unlikely.
You what?
Yeah, I think it'd be highly unlikely that it's possible, but I think
Highly unlikely what?
that there'd be another mid-year increase.
Really?
We thought that before too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to have
Caught us last year,
Really
didn't
got
it?
us.
on top of, what was it, like almost 50%, 18 and 20, so we got 38%.
And now it's 13.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Um,
Well, I'll tell you
You
what.
don't know, no one knows.
Nobody knows.
But also too, when you're negotiating, I'm sure they're smart enough to realize too, the town's gonna save money, but so aren't they too. Their premiums are gonna be less.
It,
You know, they have a 25%, what's it, 25%?
well, less, but they're still going up.
Well, what's the town shares?
We do
30?
65.
65,
Okay, so they have
35.
even a bigger benefit, 35% buy-in on their side too, as employees.
Yep.
So if the rate goes down from 16 to 12, they're getting a benefit too, all the employees, because
Well-
their deduction is less.
But they're still going up
But it's still going up.
12.5%.
Yes, but
After-
less than,
Yeah, but
After having gone
see,
up
it goes
30.
back into that fuzzy savings.
Yeah.
well, when they're negotiating, you know, I'm sure, like I said, they have to be smart enough to realize that this is gonna benefit them
This
too
is-
by
We're gonna,
agreeing.
yeah.
This is all true. I still suggest we keep it right there, because I also have applied the 16% to a smaller amount, estimating that the usage has gone down. Let me see what it is now, because we only had spent a little over $1 million halfway through the year instead of 1.1 million, which is what half of the 2.2 would have been. So I took 100,000 off and applied it to that. So that's another, fingers crossed, that that hasn't been cut too closely. At this point, we have spent $1,350,000. So that is through the end of February.
February.
So we are spending, you know, we're staying up there, but
650.
And we have,
we're not going to be at 2.2, but we probably are going to be like
Three
one.
and six.
This one. Oh, you're actually going to do the math, Paul? Go for
I'm
it.
just trying, two, roughly
let
two.
him- yeah. So we did have some employees who stepped off and moved to other options, different, moved to their spouses or something like that. So we were able to see some cost savings there on our side when employees choose different
Mm-hmm.
healthcare options, which I think is part of the reason why you see a little bit lower cost as well.
Mhm.
We had a couple of employees leave, and every one of those is just one more little,
Tick down.
yeah.
So I think we're going to be about 2 million.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be nice.
so, and again, that is at the 16%. I think it'll be really, like, well, there you go. Perhaps we have an
Maybe.
extra 60,000 on that line, but we also know that's not, we don't hold to, we have to pay what it costs. So maybe we have 60,000 and maybe we just keep that in the back pocket while we work out these other things. And that's always something that we can apply to the budget at fall town meeting, when we will absolutely. We may even have way better idea by May town meeting.
Jen, did they mention when you went to the meeting, how are their reserves standing right now?
They have not actually discussed it. They have been so focused. So I've been to 3 meetings. I've been to 1 meeting, and then they've had 2 like Q&As since then.
Mhm.
That 1 meeting that I've gone to so far was the presentation.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten the full picture. There's another meeting coming up at the beginning of next month that I'll be going to, and they'll send out all of that then. But literally, the first meeting I sat down and participated in was this vote on doing the 12.48% and changing the programs.
They were down there for a while.
They were.
Yeah.
Million or
There was a
so.
lot of things that just hit at the wrong, or at the exact same moment, and
Yep.
it's a balance.
GLP-1 drugs were
Well, and then also
It's
some
like a perfect storm.
all of that, and there were a lot of really big
large
claims.
claims.
And so we're all paying in together. We're all in this together, and as Western Mass, going in there together. So it was unfortunate that it was that many at one go.
You heard how they had to bail out the GIC too. And so-
Yes, I did. So
but no bailout for this entity.
well, the GIC has all the state employees on it, so
And
of course they're gonna.
governmental.
Yeah. So and that's something to keep in mind as we're looking at going to the GIC. The benefit to that would be is that the state has already proved they'll bail them out,
Mhm.
but they won't bail out Hampshire County. That being said, the GIC needed to be bailed out. So, yeah. So good news, but not great news. Okay-ish news.
Yeah.
Okay-ish.
All right, yeah, sure.
It's better than the other way, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's 12.48% instead of 22.48%, so we'll take it.
So there, 8:30.
So I just want to just double check that I'm on the right page. So just the insurance, I want to, I was just trying to listen and understand what you're saying. So we talked about, I'm looking here in 26, we budgeted 2.2 million. We've paid out about $1 million, a little more. And we're looking at probably it's going to cost us about 2 million. But we're still looking at taking the 2.2 million and adding 16% to that 2.2 million.
Let me see.
So we already have a little bit, since we're down to like more of a 2 million, not the 2.2. We're already have a little bit of an increase, you know, a little bit of a cushion of a 200,000 in there.
In 26.
We didn't know we were going to
27.
have that in 26.
In 26.
The reason that it's there in 26 is because we had people move to their spouse's insurance, so we don't pay that anymore. We had people who left our insurance, period, because they left our employment.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So that makes sense, but what I'm saying is we didn't know about those, and that's a good savings. But and so we want to keep some, just in case. I understand we want a cushion. You're saying a cushion. That's why you're saying leave it at 16 rather than bring it down to 13. But we do have some type of a cushion there already of a $200,000 cushion in addition to that.
I
Right?
see
Yeah,
what you're saying, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
So,
she's saying because you're saying it's gonna go up to 2, so we'll have 206 left, and you have
Add
right here at
14% to
2504.
2 million.
well, I use the, all right, let's see. So if you take the 2 million, which is I think what we're gonna spend, maybe a little bit more than that.
Call it, it's roughly 300,000 more, and it's 2.5. It's being asked for by the town administrator's budget.
Sorry,
Looks
what?
like
2.5. I was wondering.
It's 2.5, but it's probably 2.3.
What about the town administrator's budget?
Well, no.
Well, it says
The,
You got 2 lines.
The
which
town
this-
administrator
which
line.
line?
Oh, the
Not that budget.
recommendation, the TA,
Yeah.
okay, sorry, I'm like, what?
The town
Where did we go?
administrator's budget, 2.5
5
million.
we're looking at
From
which line number
2.2.
we're
If
talking
you
about.
add
Times.
either
Right,
12
but this was the 20% that she put it in.
Yeah.
I didn't have this
Correct.
number until,
Correct. And that's what
last
Amy's
week.
saying too. I think we're over. by
Maybe it
about
is over.
200
are we
Yep.
grand.
circling around? Sorry.
Yep.
It's just something to
Yeah.
like when we're looking at these, it's something to look at.
Let's just, yeah. No, that's a
No.
potential slide resource. Yep,
Perfect.
yep. And the,
Sorry, I got lost in that.
we will get,
Okay.
Right.
So,
We're all-
right, we keep
16% of 2 million is 320,000 as opposed to, so we might be, yep,
2.
okay.
good enough.
So, looking, I've been writing all over. What do we have left?
Debt,
Nothing. We've done
That's,
every. Oh, just
that's right
debt.
in front of it, if you want to do,
Okay.
I mean, that's really, this is one I wanted to explain that, we have shifted up over the years.
Oh, we're
It's
at
44, page 44. There's, yeah, this is not
Right
gonna,
across.
this is not gonna take long. We have tried to keep the debt and interest even from year to year, especially the debt exclusion portion of it, because, so that it does not have varying increase on the taxes, that we keep it right even with the debt and interest. But the other part of it, payment under the levy, is one that I think twice a finance committee, we worked to move that up by $50,000. I think we've been up $100,000, which has aided in the capital plan. Paul, you know, are aware of that we had a little bit more room there. And so we started paying off more of that debt with the extra money, so we had room to acquire more or do more capital purchases as needed. However, here we are, looking for cuts across the budget. I guess I took out 55.9, must have been my last piece. That probably was my genuine last piece in the puzzle then. to come up with 55.9 to get us to a balanced budget. So we're going to reduce then the amount that is paid to capital. It's another one that I'm very uncomfortable with. I wish we could keep it where it was, but I think, once again, that
So-
55 is a,
I thought that was a good plan back when we did it.
Mhm.
Rates were low at that time too. But now, especially since we're looking at doing things a little bit differently and not using free cash in the operating budget, we can use free cash more for capital items. We won't hopefully necessarily need to be, you won't have anything to be, normally you would tell the capital, I have 500,000 within the levy to spend.
Yep.
At this point, you're gonna say 0, correct? Will you have any?
I don't know if I'll say, not 0, but we'll move it down by 50.
Oh,
But
just
we'll
by
move it by
50.
this amount, yeah, 55.9.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So there is even more room if you were to move it, like even to take it out, because you're paying down extra. That 500, that's extra you've been paying down, that's not the minimum payment.
It's extra in that it's an increase over what we were paying in earlier years. However, we have been re-increasing it each year
Right.
with capital items.
Right.
So this time, when we pay that down, I think we still, if we didn't do any more borrowing within the levy, like 0,
right.
if we did 0, this would take us out, I think my budget sheet was, it takes us out 4 years. We would then it would be paid off in about 4 years, all of our levy borrowing. So, I'm not sure we want to get to that point. I think it was 4 years, and then this extends it out. It was somewhere
Well,
between
I
3
mean-
and 4, and now it's 4 and 5 years out.
We got,
So-
I mean, we haven't even put the fire truck in this yet, right?
Oh, that's gonna be in debt exclusion.
Exclude.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
But it's not really going to increase it because we will have paid off. Remember, we did the fire and the fire truck and the school locker rooms at the same time.
Right.
We voted those through at the same time. We got going on the locker rooms immediately. Those will be paid off in 3 years. I think this is our 3rd year coming up. And then the fire truck goes on for that same amount. So we're already at that debt exclusion level going forward. So that won't have any additional impact on it. I don't think we've done any debt exclusion authorizations since then. Wasn't that the last thing, Paul? I think that was
I
it.
think the fire truck was the,
Oh, yeah. I think that was the
that
last
was the
thing.
last one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully we'll start to see that come down. So anyways, that's,
Okay.
I wanted to point that out. We have, we're down to a single ban a year because we did do that rollover into the long-term bond this past fall that you were part of. And, because I think at that point we had 2 or 3 going. What we do is we do the short-term borrowing until we hit a certain mass, I guess, and then we roll it into the bond. So we probably won't do another bond by reason of the fire truck because we do have this payoff plan. Oh, but you can bet if we get to what's the biggie, the 6 million, Paul, the
tanks.
the tanks.
Oh,
Yeah, if we get
yeah.
there, yeah. It's bond time again.
Yeah.
So we're probably in about 2 years, we'll be looking at another bond, or if the town was to approve a public safety complex, but we have to get through this snarly time first, probably before the town would consider that again. So I don't know. We have those are probably the only other one that is hanging in even for consideration at this point.
Yeah, the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, there's other big things hanging out there, but not on the,
DPW building someday.
well, the building, yeah,
down the road,
building someday, do something with the levy someday.
And that, too.
And, yeah, we've got some big things out there, but,
Well, hopefully with the levy, the feds will come through with something.
right.
We've got a couple of things that we're really working on.
Mm-hmm.
Got the silver jackets back in. I submitted a grant recently to work on a website for flooding And the more things that we're showing them that we're doing, the more they're going to be willing to invest in us. So we're really trying to make that happen.
All right, I don't have any other questions, does anybody else?
Okay.
No?
May I make a comment, please?
Sure.
So it was brought to me that there's a problem that y'all finance committee's minutes are not on the website, and I just wanted to have it on camera that Amy came in to work on updating y'all's website with me, and we are in the middle of transitioning to a new website, and they have already done the flip over of all of the content, which means any mass uploads of materials after this point are not going to be transferred over, which means that the finance committee would be doing double the work. So I asked Amy to hold on uploading the minutes until the new site is live, so that we were only doing the work one time. And I just want the public to know that the minutes are there, they have been voted on, and I'm sure that Amy would be happy to supply them to you if you asked for them, but they're not on the website until the new site goes live and we can load them up.
Do we know when
And
that
What's the
is?
timeline on that, Jan?
Well, a
On
couple
the same
things have come up unexpectedly, and so I'm getting pulled away a little bit from it. But I've given them a bunch of notes and they're working on them on their side. I would imagine at least another 6 to 8 weeks. And this isn't a brand new web page or anything. I don't want to make it sound like that. This is a refresh of what we have, some improvements, and doing better ADA accessibility for people. Because that is a requirement that's coming from the government that we're going to need to have accessibility built into it. So that's just, we're going ahead and getting a jump on it. They give it to us for free with our upgrade. So we're taking
Is
it.
it the same vendor?
Same
or-
vendor.
Okay.
They pretty much have the state locked down. Civics Plus, Civic Engage, Civic Open. It's all Civic. So Northampton has it, Hadley has it. I think Amherst has it. I think everybody has it, literally. This is their specialty. So, but I just wanted to say that out loud in case
Thank you. Thank you,
people were
Jennifer.
saying it for you. I heard it, so I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that you did come in with the intent of updating the website. So, for the public.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you
Yep.
very much for that.
So we didn't have library tonight, but that's been.
And Hadley
that's-
Media.
And Hadley Media is going to go
30th, it'll be.
the 30th.
Okay,
And
With
Patrick, what's the other 20?
Police,
Next.
police
25th?
dispatch and fire EMS.
Please.
Library has to be on is going to join
on the 25th.
on the 25th.
Correct.
I think we already had inspections down there. And the only thing left for tonight is the treasurer budget, since we're doing all of the other hundreds on next Wednesday night. If you want to do it in context with that,
Yeah,
it's
that's
fine with
good.
me.
Okay, so.
Okay.
So on the 25th, we're doing the treasurer's budget?
100s.
Well,
and
all the
library.
hundreds.
All the 100s?
Yeah.
You've done the select board and y'all's now.
I've just had the treasurer one hanging out there.
Okay.
You know,
We'll
we'll
deal with
come
that.
up empty one night that we
That's
sit
the
here and talk
20
about ourselves and
Sure,
our own
got
budgets, I
this on
guess.
it.
Usually the budget
30th.
24th.
And the
Yeah.
30th, we're doing public safety.
Yes.
30th, yeah.
Yep. Public safety.
Yep.
And
Police
Hadley
dispatch,
Media.
fire EMS,
Hadley
and
Media.
Hadley Media.
And, and Hadley Media. How about, are we still having a buy board meeting on the 24th?
On Wednesday. Oh, wait a minute.
I have it as, I thought we're doing departmental
They have-
meetings.
Buy board is on the 24th, which is Tuesday, and your finance committee meeting is on the 25th.
It's
Yeah.
flipped, and
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, the 24th is the buy board, 25th is FinCom,
FinCom.
Mm-hmm.
and then the 30th is FinCom.
I'm posting.
okay.
You're doing, the buy board and I'll do the two
FinCom.
FinComs.
Yeah. That's my job for tomorrow is posting.
I think, is gonna get to everybody, so I don't
Okay,
All right.
think we've missed anything.
so you gave Jennifer that sheet for,
I have to give her another one, but yes, she keeps
I
writing
keep
on it.
writing on it. It's not even anything to do with it.
and if we have on the 24th, will you have anything ready for us?
Definitely.
Will you be able to give a copy of it to Jennifer to put on the board docs or something?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Can you email it to me before, please? Because I'm going to be
Yeah.
remote.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it to you by like Monday night latest.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, you can give it to me on Tuesday right before the meeting too.
Oh,
I mean,
patient.
I'm okay with that. Just I have to have it in time to have it on there for
Gotcha.
people.
Cool.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.